5% off. John Heister in Lillington has 25% off all new 2024 Ram 1500s right now. That's like getting a fourth of your new truck for free. That couldn't be more worth getting off your keister for. So get off your keister and get to John Heister Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Lillington for 25% off your new Ram 1500.
The final shot at the Championship 4 comes down to a track that's been here from day one. Martinsville. NASCAR Playoffs weekend at Martinsville Speedway. November 1st through the 3rd. Get your tickets now at martinsvillespeedway.com.
Experience a Raleigh tradition. Head to Amedio's Italian Restaurant, a family favorite for over 60 years. From weekly specials to their famous homemade recipes, Amedio's uses only the freshest ingredients. Need a touchdown for your tailgate? Amedio's offers delicious takeout, perfect for cheering on the Wolfpack. Or they can host your private party. Amedio's even caters. Amedio's Italian Restaurant, Raleigh's Taste of Italy since 1963. Visit Amedio'sRestaurant.com for details.
Most tax pros leave a message.
It's Jane. I'm moving on to a TurboTax expert who beat your price. Adam Devine, tell him how I feel.
Hey, tax pro, she's been thinking twice. Best believe TurboTax will beat your price. This is a tax break.
Switch to a TurboTax Live expert and we'll beat what you paid your pro last tax season. Make the switch at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice. TurboTax full service only. Sign up by 12/20/2024 and file by 4/1/2025. Full details at TurboTax.com/beatyourprice.
This season, get premium tech that inspires joy from Dell Technologies. Bring projects to life with the XPS 16. It delivers supercharged processing for enhanced productivity and freedom to express yourself. Performance class Dell PCs with Intel Core Ultra processors deliver a dedicated engine to help accelerate AI. Enjoy free shipping, Dell rewards, and expert support. When you get a Dell PC with AI, it gives back. Shop now at Dell.com/deals.
Move your sports day forward.
Be mentally prepared for wherever it is, as Dave Canales said, but ultimately, they gave up 36. And at the end of that game, inside of 5 minutes, frustrations boiled over. That's reminding yourself that, crap, we're right back where we started again in weeks 1 and week 2. Maybe it wasn't all just about the quarterback. Maybe that wasn't the whole play at all.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader. This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Bounces his way into the end zone. Touchdown!
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com.
WCMC-FM HD1 Holly Springs.
You're listening to The Adam Gold Show on the North Carolina Sports Network.
This is Tech's first punt since the first quarter. Oh! And Carolina nearly gets to it. It is going to be a return opportunity for Huzzy. Huzzy steps through the tackler. She's at the 50. Huzzy to the 40. Let's go! Huzzy, 30, 20. He is indeed going to go to the house. Touchdown, Carolina. There we go. 69-yard return for Huzzy for 6.
It is the Adam Gold Show. How you doing? I am Adam Gold. Victoria's here. Normally, when you return a punt for a touchdown, that's usually a good thing. Those hidden points usually add up to wins. Didn't happen for North Carolina coming this past Saturday, but it was a difficult day. And we are going to get that. We are here for you until 3 o'clock. As always, you can find us on YouTube. And by all means, comment in the YouTube places you can YouTube comment. Just go to youtube.com/Adam Gold Show /999 The Fan. Is there another way to get to it?
No, I mean, that's
pretty
easiest.
much it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's Victoria. I'm Adam. We're here all day. There's a lot of stuff going on. I want to thank people very quickly for asking me how I was doing today in light of yesterday's loss.
Oh.
Mets lost last night, game 1.
Yeah.
They had done well in opening games of playoff series. Actually, if you go back to the Monday doubleheader, they had to win one of those 2 games. They won the first one dramatically. Then they beat the Brewers in the first one. They beat the Phillies in the first one, right? They beat the Phillies. Beat the Phillies in the first one. And they did not beat the Dodgers last night.
No.
Matter of fact, they got squashed like a bug on your windshield. It was no good. But
thanks to Flaherty.
Yeah, Flaherty was great.
He was amazing.
And the Mets were not by any stretch of the imagination. But Dodgers still have to win 3 more. Now they might well win 3 more, and we'll just live with it. But they still got to win 3 more.
Never know.
We have it has happened before. So Mets and Dodgers have while not a lengthy playoff history against one another, a pretty good one and a fun one. I'll go back to 1988 when the Dodgers beat the Mets in Game 7 of the National League Championship Series. The Mets had won, I think, 11 of 12 from L.A. during the course of the year. And the Dodgers won in Game 7. Oral Hershiser also was, at that point, needed to be tested. He was next level. It was during his National League record consecutive scoreless inning streak. He literally was unhittable at that point. Anyway, we're all good, but we have a lot of things to get to, so let's begin. All right, let me just run down some things we are going to discuss. The Panthers may have lost again to the Falcons.
They definitely did.
But I saw something I loved in the game.
Yes.
Ultimately, though, a poor decision by Andy Dalton cost them. That 28-20 drive fueled by Chuba Hubbard interception was, why did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
And also bad defense. But I still saw something I loved, and I will tell you about it. Jared Jones will absolutely not make a coaching change. I just don't see how they're going to get better this year by making a coaching change. He would have to admit that, Mike McCarthy probably shouldn't have been hired in the first place because he's only going to get us so far. And honestly, their personnel is not awesome. Anyway, NC State simply did not want to beat Syracuse on Saturday night. They should have won the game, but really opted out of winning the game.
Mm-hmm. Didn't want to.
They, just whether it was really silly penalties or turnovers, they just didn't want to win. UNC lost in the most UNC way to Georgia Tech, but in fairness, it was a incredibly difficult day for everyone in Chapel Hill. We are going to get to that as well. Clemson, Pitt, SMU all remained on track for end-of-the-season chaos. And Oregon used arguably sneaky tactics to hold off Ohio State. Now, they beat them fair and square on the field. Oregon, better team. But at the end, kind of sneaky. I'm not against it. As Ohio State loses their first losable game of the season, my question to the Buckeyes is, how will you do in the only other losable game you have left on your schedule? I kid you not. There's just one more losable game for Ohio State. That will be at Penn State, who beat Southern Cal on the road. How's it going for the Trojans, Lincoln Riley? All right, Hurricanes stunk on Friday night, but they still should have won the game over the Lightning.
It's like a theme for Carolina teams.
It is. Well, I don't think the Panthers should have won the game, and I'm not sure UNC should have won the game. State should have won that game.
They at least stuck. I was proud of the Panthers at least sticking with it for the
most
of the game.
Really, I mean, look, they are who they are.
Yeah.
But they had a chance early in the fourth quarter. That interception just ended the game. Real quick about the Hurricanes. I know it was not a great performance. Freddie Anderson was really good, except for the second goal, which he should not have allowed, not from that distance. But it's a game they should have won. Tampa wasn't any good either. They scored 2 power play goals. They had 17 seconds of power play brilliance. That got them 2 goals. Hurricanes should have scored at least 3. There's just no other way around it if you watch the game. And Carolina wasn't any good. but somehow they had golden opportunities to score that they just didn't. All right. Now let's get back to the Panthers real quick. Panthers can't stop the run. Duh. They haven't been able to. They really couldn't stop the run last year either. And now they're down Derek Brown. They're kind of banged up in the middle of their defensive line. They're down Shaq Thompson and Josie Jewell. I mean, they're easy to run against. I'm actually surprised Atlanta didn't try to run for 300 yards against them, except that Atlanta's not really a power running team, but they could have been. And Algiers looked like a power runner, even though he's not necessarily that. So they can't stop the run. Can't stop the pass either. And here's an interesting thought. If you are of the mind that J.C. Horn is one of those cornerbacks, I'm not, by the way. I don't think he's bad. Yeah. I just think J.C. Horn is okay. I think he is a good cornerback that has not yet, to me, exhibited the traits of being a shutdown guy.
Definitely not stayed healthy enough for us to see that.
Well, he has this year.
Yes,
he's
but
been
overall.
healthy this year. So just using this year as a guide, he does not look like shutdown corner. Now, I'm not saying he's not good enough to be a starter or even your best corner, because there's only a handful of shutdown cornerbacks in the league. But J.C. Horn does not appear to me to be in that category. And again, this is a small sample size. We're only 6 games into the season. But when opposing quarterbacks target J.C. Horn as the primary defender, they have a passer rating of 103.1. That's not low. If your quarterback has a passer rating of 103.1, it's probably been pretty good. And now we're targeting, theoretically, the other team's best cornerback. Not great. So they need him to be better. And I thought he was okay, but again, he's got to make more of an impact on defense. And I think it is also telling that if he was that guy, then J.C. Horn would always have the other team's best cornerback. Now, theoretically, you would see all top cornerbacks do that. Richard Sherman, as good as he was with the 49ers, rather Seattle and then the 49ers, really more with Seattle, never left his side of the field. So if you wanted to avoid him, you could put your best receiver on the other side. So he stayed on one side of the field always. Horn pretty much does that too. I just think that if he was one of those guys and you don't have another one like him, you would be probably making sure that he had the other team's best receiver. Was that first touchdown was on him as well. He's also allowed 3 touchdown passes in 6 games. The first touchdown pass was on him, but I will allow for that being a ridiculously good play design and pass route. Because he went for the first move, and he was on the first move, but it was the fake that got him. Panthers have also had just 6 sacks in 6 games. All right, I said I was going to tell you something I loved about the game.
Yes.
So first, let me quickly set it up. The Panthers took a 7-10 lead. Remember, the Falcons fumbled the ball. It was originally ruled a first down by contact. But it looked to me on the first replay that the ball had hit the leg of the Panthers defender and was already on the way out before Ray McDonald went down. And that's the way it was ruled. I wasn't sure what the Panthers were challenging. I thought they were challenging incomplete pass. As it turns out, which I think they should always do, what should the play have resulted in? And that's exactly the way the play should have resulted. So, fumble, Panthers get the ball in great field position, and the disappointing field goal to make it 10-7. You would have loved in a short field to cash that in on a touchdown. And Dave Canales, after the game, said some things that, to me, resonated. But then, after that, Falcons score a touchdown on their next drive. Carolina punts. Falcons score another touchdown. It's 22-10, and there's about 2 minutes left. Little less than 2 minutes left in the first half. And the Panthers had called all of their timeouts to make sure that there was time for a drive at the end of the half. And I thought, I like it. I like it. But when you have no timeouts left and the other team's got 3 and their offense is as good as it is, if you don't move the ball, you are begging the Falcons to end the game before halftime. Because if it's 29-10 at the half, you're done. Cooked. After an incompletion, I thought, well, maybe they'd get a little conservative here, maybe force the Falcons to use their other 2 timeouts. But no, they continued throwing the ball, and they were not really conservative. They were aggressive. They drove the ball down the field. Coker had a couple of really big catches. JT Sanders had a big catch. The touchdown pass to Xavier Legette. I mean, that he did not look like a rookie. Xavier Legette on that. That was a wonderful play. Obviously, the play everybody on that drive is going to remember is the Andy Dalton. How did you escape that and scramble for 18 yards? Because if he gets sacked there, I believe that the Falcons would have called a timeout on second and what would it have been? 18 or 19. I think they would have called a timeout there, and because they would have figured, well, we're going to end up either forcing the Panthers to kick a field goal, and we might be able to get the ball back and go down the field. But that play allowed the Panthers to keep the ball and continue running the clock. There were 40-some-odd seconds left when Dalton scrambled. If he gets sacked right there, then we might be talking about a different end of the half. But the Panthers ended up scoring a touchdown. All right. That showed me
there's life.
But it showed me that Dave Canales was willing to risk, because if they don't move the football, if they punt it back to Atlanta, Atlanta's going to score. Even if it's just a field goal, they're going to score again, and I think they got the ball to start the second half. So there were so many good things about the decision to go for it and then the approach when they went for it. So I felt better about, even when the game unraveled, and the game unraveled on the Andy Dalton interception at 28-20 when Chuba Hubbard was carving Atlanta up. And yeah, I get it. It was a play-action fake on that. Okay. But that throw?
Yeah.
You should have never made that throw, Andy.
Ever.
Even if Sanders didn't run a great route, you should not have ever made that throw because the defensive back had already jumped it. Before you released the ball, A.J. Terrell was already in front of J.T. Sanders, and you had, I think it was Deontay Johnson, in the right flat for a short gain. He could have gotten out of bounds. You could have picked up, 5-8 yards, and boom, you're still in business. That pick ended the game. But anyway, I saw a lot of good things about it. I thought that whole thing was gutsy. All right. Let me get to a tough day at Kenan Stadium. Before the game, Mac Brown found out that Tylee Kraft had passed away. He was I think a junior wide receiver, or maybe he might have been a senior. I don't know the class, but a former 4-star wide receiver, had played a couple of years earlier in his career. 2-year battle with an advanced rare form of lung cancer, claimed his life at the age of 23.
We just heard that we lost Tylee Kraft this morning. He passed. We knew he was really sick, and talking about it, we said that to the players on Thursday at practice that we felt like he was going to hospice, and they all know what that means, and that he probably had 2 days to 2 weeks. So they all ran to see him and basically hugged him and talked to him and laughed with him, and then we didn't know if he was going to make it this morning before the game, and you have to figure out how you're going to tell a group, and what a difficult thing to tell a group of young people about one of their best friends. But this is part of life, and we got to learn to utilize the days we have to the best of our ability, because we don't control how many that we do have. And I will say, and this young man fought so hard for his 2.5 years. The doctors told us he outlived what he should have, and he did it with a spirit, and he did it with a smile on his face, and he didn't miss a meeting. He didn't miss practice. He coached these other young people. So, I mean, he's just an incredible young person.
Mac Brown's taking a lot of heat this year. I mean, and deservedly so. The team has completely underperformed any expectations, even if there were not great expectations for this team. The one thing I will always come back to, though, and maybe it's just because Mac in advanced coaching years, we'll just say it that way, has seemingly become more of an old softy.
Yes.
Right? I think there is, and I am not against this at all. At all. I do not find this as a weakness for anybody. I think he is simply, like, he's taken it to heart that he was going to enjoy this ride more than he did the first one, more than he did his ride at Texas. Not going to be consumed by the losses as much, all of that. But he comes across as kind and decent, and I think that that is a wonderful image to have. And I know that that it had to be just a very, very difficult day, because they knew, and you could see like embracing Kraft's family, that they knew that it was, if it wasn't over already, they knew that it was about to be. So difficult. Now, the way they went and lost the game is just very Tar Heely. Georgia Tech looked almost willing to run the clock out, and then they ran for 68 yards and a touchdown. I just have nothing for that. But anyway, it's just that's the way North Carolina's season has unfortunately gone. Real quick about the Wolfpack. 3 turnovers, way too many penalties, and you lose a game to a good team. But that is a game that NC State, and I'm not, the penalties, the turnovers, other than the first one, the strip sack, like that's a mistake by the left tackle ducking inside. And I'm trying to. The interception. That's not on C.J. Bailey to me. Was the pass a little tall? Yeah, but Raphael's got to pull that ball down. I mean, that's not an uncatchable ball. Would it have been difficult? Yeah, but it's not uncatchable. So I don't blame, and I don't really hang that too much on Bailey. But they moved the ball really well against a good team. But they shot themselves in the foot with the 3 turnovers and too many dumb penalties. They have back-to-back illegal shift penalties at one point. So
very dumb.
Yeah, although one of them didn't appear to be a penalty. Regardless, we had the weird. I didn't think on the successful field goal right before the end of the half, I didn't think that was like an illegal formation by the defense. You can't cover up the snapper. It looked to me like there was a gap, right? And it certainly looked to Fran Brown that there was a gap.
Yeah.
So they gave NC State a first down, which gutsy call to take points off the board and try to, because if you don't score there, like, you've given 3 points away. But I respect the fact that you're trying to score a touchdown, and you did. Mm-hmm. By the way, Justin Jolie, nice player. Nice player. All right, We got a break. Will Brinson's going to join us on the other side. We'll talk about the Panthers. We'll talk about the Cowboys train wreck. Although, maybe we should be talking about how doggone good the Detroit Lions are. Might be the best team in the NFC.
Tough injury, though, last night.
To Aiden Hutchinson, yeah. No doubt about it. Broken leg. And Drake May's debut was kind of all over the place, but not horrendous.
Right.
So, baby steps. Will Brinson next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Pack Therapy is in session thanks to First Horizon Bank. It's Tim Donnelly from 99.9 The Fan alongside legendary Wolfpack play caller Mike Glennon.
Every episode of Pack Therapy is your chance to get dialed in with inside information on your team.
We'll set you up for every Wolfpack game all season long.
And we'll break down every contest, what went right and what could have worked better.
Plus, special guests to keep Wolfpack hope alive.
Follow and subscribe to Pack Therapy wherever you discover your favorite podcasts or watch on YouTube.
Homeowners, listen up. The Fed has taken action, lowering rates for the first time in years, and Loan Pronto has followed suit by lowering mortgage rates big time. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That means this is the best chance in 2 years to do a cash-out refi and unlock all that equity at an amazing rate. Loan Pronto has fixed loans under 5% APR, the lowest in 2 years. You can get a fast refi and get $50, $75, even $100,000 in cash. Use it to pay off all your credit cards, personal loans, car loans. You'll end up with one payment each month, and for most homeowners, they save over $850 every month. And if you want to keep your original mortgage intact, ask about the Loan Pronto Express Equity Line of Credit. If you act now, you could even skip your next 2 house payments. Call now. Get your rate quote in minutes with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. Call 919-381-1760 or loanpronto.com. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling. We do the job right every time.
I'm Drake May, quarterback at UNC. Trust the team at Mitchell Heating and Cooling for your HVAC needs. Together we win. Call Mitchell Heating and Cooling today.
Contact us now at mitchellhvac.com or 919-556-5069. Train. It's hard to stop a train.
The best solutions every time.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Hey, what do you say? John Forsland here from my friends at Buffalo Brothers. I live and work on both coasts, travel the country, and there's nothing better than Buffalo Brothers. The best wings on the planet and half-price appetizers, Monday through Friday, 4:30 to 6. Visit all 5 Triangle locations and ask for their great daily beer specials. And how about this special? Every Sunday, they have $6 Bloody Marys and $6.50 Jamesons. Dine in, carry out. BuffBrothers.com. Aw, man, now I want wings.
At the UPS Store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable.
It's Tim Donnelly for Window Nation. It's getting cold. Your heating bills are on the rise, and your house's old and damaged windows are letting all of that heat and your money go right out the window. Good thing there's Window Nation. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free. Plus, pay nothing for 24 months. You'll love your windows like Albert, who says great value, great product, and great customer service. Hurry, sale ends October 31st, so schedule a fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or at windownation.com.
This is Adam Gold.
Maybe at some point after repeated losing, David Tepper will get out of the way.
Yeah, that's going to be on my Christmas list every year until it happens. So, there.
I wish I could give you that.
I wish
I could put a bow around that for you, Victoria.
Me too.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. Will Brinson in just a matter of moments. We were watching the Panthers and the Falcons yesterday in the 425, America's game of the week. We were watching that game at 425. So we didn't have the opportunity to see Dallas savagely beat the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sorry, Detroit savagely beat the Dallas Cowboys.
It's ugly.
And we knew it was going to happen because it's been happening all year long. Dallas has struggled to beat good teams, which is not necessarily atypical of any team because when you play good teams, I mean, they're good. They win. So, I mean, even the Chiefs aren't like 9-2 against good teams. Dallas last year was they were 12-5 on the season, and I would think that 4 or 5 of their wins came against good teams.
Mm-hmm.
So again, not uncommon. But what happened yesterday was so stark, and it wasn't the first time they had gotten blown out at home. As a matter of fact, I think they're 0-3 in Dallas. They lost to the Saints in week 2 at home. They just got absolutely steamrolled.
Yeah, bad.
They fell behind by a lot to Baltimore, but ended up coming back and making that a game late. And then last night or yesterday, just absolutely got crushed by Detroit. In fairness to Dallas, Detroit might be the best team in the NFC. Now, the injury to Aiden Hutchinson is real, and that will impact them defensively going forward, of course. But when you're a great team, and Detroit is undoubtedly a great team, you're not a great team because of one player. Certainly you have an opportunity to be great because of those star players. So if they lose Jared Goff, difficult. But part of what makes Detroit great is their depth. They have especially offensively, they have so many ways to beat you. They have a great offensive line. So it's not just Aiden Hutchinson. I'm not going to say they're obviously not going to be the same team. They'll have to compensate for his loss in some way. But the truth of the matter is that they are great probably with or without Aiden Hutchinson. So while tough loss, they are legit great. We haven't seen San Francisco at full strength yet, but I'm not sure they're better than Detroit. Detroit can beat you in so many ways, and they are super creative. Very, very creative, as we saw a bunch yesterday. They dial up a lot of stuff to beat you, and they seem to have no end to the goofiness in their arsenal. But, man, they just absolutely throttled. So, of course, after the game, it's all about, are you going to fire the coach? And we know the answer to that. Jerry Jones did not fire Jason Garrett midseason. He's not firing Mike McCarthy midseason. And Mike McCarthy is a better coach than Jason Garrett. I'm not a huge fan of Mike McCarthy, but he's a perfectly above average NFL head coach. That's what he is. He's an above average NFL head coach. He is Ron Rivera on the offensive side of the ball. Again, perfectly above average NFL coach. Jerry Jones is not pulling the plug, on top of the fact that he'd have to admit that he shouldn't have hired Mike McCarthy in the first place, but that's another matter altogether. Will Brinson joins us on the Adam Gold Show. My man, how are you?
What's up, man? How we doing? Sorry.
No. Let's just talk ball. So I was just talking about Dallas and Detroit. So I mean, the margin of the scoring margin, the loss by Dallas automatically makes people go, "What's wrong with Dallas?" But couldn't that simply be what's right with Detroit?
Yeah. Maybe. There's some of that there. I mean, there's a lot right with Detroit. There's a lot wrong with Dallas.
I agree with that.
And by the way, the last time I believe they lost by 38 points at home, Wade Phillips got fired that week, and it was to Mike McCarthy and the Packers, which is just wild. I think Jerry Jones said he was all in this offseason,
right?
2024. And what he meant it was like, all right, we're just all in on what we've got. And right now the defense just isn't very good.
Nope.
And it's easy to me to draw a line here. The defense was terrible with Mike Nolan under Mike McCarthy, and it almost cost him his job. Goes out and gets Dan Quinn, brings him in. Defense is very good for a long time. And then Dan Quinn goes to Washington, and Washington's good. Yep. And now the defense is bad again. DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons being hurt certainly doesn't help the Cowboys' case, but this isn't a good defense. And right now, the bigger problem is that the only way they were going to win that game against Detroit is if Dak Prescott and the offense were capable of outlasting the Lions in a shootout. They didn't do that. Jared Goff, by the way, 157.5 passer rating over the last two games, highest in NFL history for a 2-game span, which is wild.
Well, one of them was a perfect. Actually, last week wasn't perfect, right? It was just short of perfect, even though he was like 18 for 18.
Oh, no. Last week, so he was perfect yesterday with 153.8. And he was not perfect last week, even though he was 18 of 18 and caught a touchdown pass, which is maybe the system is a little broken. But yeah, Goff's been awesome. The offensive line's been awesome. They have Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams. They are loaded at wide receiver. Aiden Hutchinson being done for the year, and that's what we probably think it is. I mean, even though they didn't offer a timetable. I mean, a broken leg. He best case he's like back by the Super Bowl. I would guess.
Exactly.
But that's a big blow. They're probably going to need to go out and get a pass rusher. Aleem McNeil is playing awesome football right now. Former
Miles
Pack
Garrett?
standout. I mean, I don't know if the Browns are trading him, but maybe Hassan Reddick. I think that's maybe a concern. But the back end of the Lions defense has gotten better with Armstead, who they added in the draft. Brian Branch looks awesome, and so this Lions team is just really complete, and they're a really good football team. So yeah, I mean, like to your point, the beatdown says a lot about how good the Lions are. I think it also says, man, the Cowboys just aren't there yet. The division's still wide open, but Jerry said he's not making a coaching change. If the Cowboys keep losing like this, he will.
Right, and this is the weird thing about the NFL. Jets made a coaching change. Do I think it's going to matter? I just don't know what coaching changes midstream. I mean, maybe I don't remember it working. I just don't know what you're going to do midstream to change to get back on course. I mean, I guess the best example of a team significantly playing better was the Panthers a few years ago when they went to Steve Wilkes and then didn't hire him.
Well, I would argue that the best example would be the Raiders firing John Gruden with a scandal midseason. Right. Rich Bisaccia going 7-5 down the stretch, and they were 3-2 with Gruden anyway.
Right. Okay, but that's you're firing Gruden for a different reason. You're not firing Gruden for poor coaching.
Yeah, I mean, look, what happens when you have and Antonio Pierce got team played well down the stretch for him last year, and that's why he got the head coaching job. It's sort of like that Arrested Development meme where it's like he's like, I often advise my couples, he's like, this never works. Like trying an open relationship. He's like, well, did it work for them? No, it never does, but it might work for us. And it's just not going to. And like the worst case is if your interim coach, and in this case, it would obviously be Mike Zimmer, but what has he done to deserve the job?
Oh my gosh, you should fire Mike Zimmer.
Right. And so like the interim coach gets the most out of the team. What happens is you fire a coach, everybody gets scared and panics. You get sort of a rah-rah leadership role because somebody's in there temporarily and playing with house money. Everybody's trying harder. We've seen that with the Panthers several times, and many other teams, at least like immediately, right? And you end up like in a situation where you basically have to hire the interim, or like you can the interim and go get it. So it really doesn't work. So I think Jerry will try and write it out with Mike McCarthy. Remember, the only reason he fired Wade Phillips is because he was worried Jason Garrett was going to leave if Jason Garrett didn't get the job, and he loved Jason Garrett.
Right.
So I think that's probably more about it. Jerry's not one to – he doesn't like to fire guys midseason. Nobody does.
No, because it generally does not work. It does not put playoff teams back on track to be playoff teams. I mean, you could be a train wreck, and then like what Steve Wilkes did, they went 6-6 in the games he coached, which is fine. You know, they simplifies things, and they probably didn't win a lot of games against good teams. But who cares? I just don't think that's a course of action for Dallas. As good as they're going to be, as good as Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb are going to be, and they certainly weren't very good in this game. Couple of other games I want to get to, and we'll get to the Panthers here in a sec. Drake Maye didn't stink up the joint. I mean, it certainly wasn't awesome, but he threw a couple of touchdown passes. He got knocked around a little bit. I wouldn't have started him. I wouldn't have played him until toward the end of the season, not behind their offensive line. But as a first start in the NFL for a bad team against a good team, that wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I mean, look, they got blown out by the Texans, and the score was 27-7 before Drake Maye started. Well, I guess he threw to Kayshon Boutte. He threw a touchdown pass in the second quarter, but most of it was in garbage time.
Still,
he ran the ball well.
Yeah.
Here's my thing with the Patriots is if you're gonna bring Drake Maye, like if you're gonna not start Drake Maye at the beginning of the year when your team is completely healthy, then why don't you wait and follow the actual plan that you have for Drake Maye? It doesn't make any sense to me to get 5 games in and say, oh, well, we stink. Let's pull the ripcord and start Drake Maye against the team that generates more quarterback pressure than anyone else in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, started the week before against a worse defense. So I
total
thought –
panic move.
Yeah, and like your offense, you lose David Andrews, so your center's out for the season. You don't have any, real weapons at the skill positions. You lose Ramondre Stevenson, so you're losing your best running back. I just thought that the approach by the Patriots was kind of silly, although Drake Maye, very talented. Wouldn't be surprised if he has a great career. And I think I'm always in favor of playing the young guys. Obviously I'm a Jacoby Brissett guy, but you draft Drake Maye where you draft him, start him right away. If he's gonna struggle and not be a good player over the long term because you don't have the weapons in place and you don't have the offensive line in place, you might want to think about whether you should have drafted him in the first place. And then two, like if that's the case, then you need to be absolutely convicted in or absolutely sure in your convictions, and you sit him for the year, or you start him right away. This sort of haphazard direction to me makes me question the front office and the coaching staff and who's pulling the strings on when Drake Maye starts.
Yeah, I just feel like you're probably listening to voices you shouldn't be listening to.
Right, fans and owners.
Yeah, they honestly, you let him sit, let him play the last game of the season, right? But whatever. Hope as long as they don't break him. Because, my stance has been that the Panthers broke Bryce Young, and we'll never know. He could have stunk anyway, so we're just never going to know.
By the way, I mean, the Panthers essentially, by trading up to the first pick and taking Bryce Young, they passed on C.J. Stroud, Caleb Williams, and Jaden Daniels. Pretty incredible to pass on like 3 of the best rookie quarterbacks in the last 10 years because all 3 look awesome.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels was great against Baltimore. Caleb Williams was incredible in London, and C.J. Stroud just keeps being C.J. Stroud. I mean, great job, Carolina. You nailed that one. It's pretty rare when the first 4 quarterbacks taken in back-to-back drafts, 3 of them look like they're superstars, and you had the first pick out of all of them, and you took the one guy that's not any good. That's good. That's the good stuff right there.
Yeah,
Panthers.
but that 4th round pick they drafted Chuba Hubbard with a few years ago. What a great pick that was. I do too. He has been, to me, the MVP, if you could have an MVP for the Carolina Panthers this year. Was that a good enough showing by Washington?
Yes.
So we could, like, the next 5 games for them, or at least the next 4 games for them. Maybe even the next 5. I mean, Washington shouldn't be any worse. We'll go with 4. They shouldn't be any worse than 8-2 when we get there. If they're legitimately good, they should be 8-2.
Jayden Daniels, the Bears are a good team, and Jayden Daniels versus how's that a 1:00 game? Wow, Jayden Daniels versus Caleb Williams. Is that on? I don't know if it's on CBS. I don't want to suggest it should be flexed, and they get in trouble. But it should be flexed. Yeah, I think if you go next 4 games, Panthers, Bears, at Giants, Steelers at home. Yeah, 2-2 should be worst case there. You got to find a way to win. You hopefully find a way to win 3 of those games. And by the way, NFC North, the best record ever. Or at least since the merger in 1970.
Yeah. Tied for 3rd at 4-2.
yeah, they're 4-2 and tied for 3rd place. It's like, if you're a Bears fan, you're like, we haven't had a quarterback in the history of our franchise. We finally get one, and now everyone in the division decides to be great. Sweet, how cool is that? It's a really good division, and it might be really good for a long time because you have great coaching in Minnesota. They drafted J.J. McCarthy. They believe in him. He'll be there eventually to replace Sam Darnold once he gets back from injury. Caleb Williams, Jordan Love, and Jared Goff in this Lions roster that's just stacked. We've never seen all 4 teams from a division make the playoffs in the same year. It's not inconceivable. It's probably unlikely because they have a lot of games against each other left.
They
haven't played, unlikely.
There's only been 1 division game played. And we're already through week 6. Only one divisional game has been played.
That's just gonna knock one of these teams out. But when you look around the NFC, and you have Atlanta and Tampa will probably sneak one in there. Yeah, it's just gonna be tough playing each other that much to sneak 2 teams in. But it's not impossible.
Real quick about Washington, can't lose at home to the Panthers. Shouldn't lose at home to the Bears if you are legitimately good. At the Giants are probably better than I want them to be. But I still think
Giants defense is legit right now.
But I still think if you're Washington, that's a game you win. And then the game with the Steelers at home. In their last 7 games, played Dallas twice and the Eagles twice. That'll determine whether or not I win my futures bet. All right, let me move on very quickly to tonight's football game. Bills and Jets. Bills are on you don't see a lot of 3-game road trips in the NFL, but the Bills are wrapping one up in New Jersey against the Jets tonight. Jets, their first game with a new play caller and a new head coach, somebody with a beard who I've had never heard of before this year.
Todd Downing called plays for 2 years with the Titans in 2021, and
they ran the ball a lot.
Oh, they were terrible. No,
but
they
ran the ball a lot, which I would argue is what the Jets have needed to do all year long, but have refused.
I think we will see quite a bit of Bryce Hall in this game. Worth noting, the Titans, Derrick Henry ran the ball a ton. And by the way, Todd Downing was bad in Oakland too when he was the OC. But whatever. I think we'll see a ton of Bryce Hall running the ball, a ton of Braylon Allen running the ball, and the Bills blitz at the lowest rate of any team in the NFL on defense this year, which means that Bryce Hall and or Braylon Allen a lot less likely to have to stay in the backfield for pass protection with Aaron Rodgers. I think we see lots of quick hitters to the running backs, and they'll get Garrett Wilson involved as well.
All right, well, if all of that happens, it will only mean that Sean McDermott will screw this game up with clock management at the end. That's all I could think of, because that's his specialty. That is Will Brinson, senior NFL writer, CBSSports.com, at Will Brinson on Twitter. My friend, I will talk to you later.
All right, buddy. See you, man.
You got it. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got one-timers. Top of the hour, Mark Packer on how many ACC teams today, right now, are legitimately viable for the playoff. Could that answer be 4? We'll talk to Mark Packer about it coming up top of the hour. One-timers next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Trust ACT Construction Equipment and Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders to position your tree service for success. ACT Construction Equipment is your authorized dealer for sales, service, parts, and rentals for Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders. ACT Construction Equipment has been your authorized dealer for Bandit equipment for over 10 years. Visit one of our 6 North and South Carolina locations or actce.com for more details on Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders. ACT Construction Equipment, always the right equipment for the job.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and Week 6 of the NFL is almost over, but not before the Buffalo Bills do more damage to the New York Jets. America's #1 sportsbook is FanDuel, and new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win a bet on tonight's game, like Josh Allen or James Cook scoring a touchdown. I mean, it doesn't seem like it gets any easier than that, but who knows? What do I know? Anyway, take advantage of that. Win your bet. FanDuel.com/AGS. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel. FanDuel.com/AGS, and FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Hello there, it's me, your internal clock. Yes, the one you sleep through on weekends. You've probably heard my TikToks, but I'm straight up sounding the bell now. It's almost time to start applying for college. That means you got transcripts to gather, letters of rector request, and campus tours to schedule. But hey, we got time, and we've got CFNC. CFNC.org can help us plan, apply, and pay for college. We got this, trust me. Just visit CFNC.org to help us stay on time.
Visiting the North Carolina Zoo in Asheboro is a family tradition, perfect for fun outdoor adventure. Founded in 1974, this year marks North Carolina Zoo's 50th anniversary, and the zoo is celebrating all year long. Enjoy the antics of the baboon babies, take a ride on the endangered species carousel, and wonder at the massive elephants of the Watani grasslands. Make cherished family memories today. Plan your trip at nczoo.org. Open 7 days a week in Asheboro.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The Extra Help and Medicare Savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
This is Adam Gold.
Victoria, you played sports in high school, right?
Oh, yeah. Basketball, and I swam.
Could you imagine competing for $1 million?
No.
$1 million.
No. I competed for plastic trophies.
I was also a high school athlete, baseball player. No, and I could never even imagine it.
No.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria producing the program. Mark Packer, top of the hour. ACC Network, Mark Packer. So Clemson looks legit. Pitt continues to win. SMU won. Louisville won. Miami. Not that Louisville's a viable playoff team because they are 4-2. 2 losses at this point means you have to win out and probably catch a couple of breaks. That would also mean a Louisville win over Kentucky, and Kentucky's a pretty good team. But honestly, it's about Miami, Clemson, and, one of Pitt or SMU at this point. But keep winning. See how it all shakes out. There's a lot of teams still in the mix for playoff spots. We'll talk about the ACC's lot with Mark Packer coming up in a few minutes. Right now, one-timers.
Okay,
right,
so
I'm writing these down.
Kicking things off with a Panther question. What would you say, in your opinion, was the biggest reason for the Panthers' loss yesterday?
I mean, the biggest picture is that they can't stop anybody. Their defense is not good. And I know there were some people questioning the scheme. Like, you can scheme all day long. They don't have run stoppers or, veteran middle linebackers. Like, Wallace playing hard, and there's some future there, but he's not killing it. Same thing with Charles. But they don't have the personnel. That's the big deal. But they were still in the game until the Andy Dalton interception.
Yeah.
That interception at 28-20, really, that killed a beautiful drive.
Mm-hmm.
That, to me, that ended the game. But it's really about their defense.
Okay, well, sticking with football, we do have the game tonight, and it feels like there's pressure on both sides here to grab up a win. So, whose pressure will not allow them to lose this game, in your opinion?
I think Buffalo wins the game. Here's what I don't understand. Why are we talking about Buffalo being in a free fall or a tailspin? Because that's the way it's been framed. They lost at Baltimore, who might be the best team in the
Tough
AFC.
Teams.
And they lost at Houston, who's certainly a top 5 team in the AFC. It might be a top 5 team in the NFL. Why is that a tailspin? I mean, those are 50-50 games at best.
Yeah.
At best. So, I said this at the beginning of the year. I've never loved Buffalo's wide receivers. Josh Allen needs targets to throw to that aren't out of the backfield, and tight end.
All right, now moving on to...
Oh, by the way, the answer is Bills will win the game. They will respond to the pressure.
Okay, well, moving on to baseball, which I had a full weekend of for our All-American Women's Baseball Classic. It was a lot of fun. They did a really good job. But tonight, we are having Game 1 between the Cleveland Guardians and the New York Yankees. However, a lot of people keep asking the question, is Aaron Judge built for October? So, what do you say?
He's built for everything. Now, he certainly hasn't played well in October in playoff baseball. But my money would be on Aaron Judge figuring it out, and it might be a case where the first hit completely unlocks him. I wouldn't bet against Aaron Judge. Pitch to him at your own peril. Mark Packer from the ACC Network joins us at the top of the hour. Let's have some fun.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Adam Gold here for my friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Let's put the bow on Week 6 with the Bills and Jets. And do we have something for you, FanDuel new customers? Make your first $5 wager, get $300 in bonus bets because you know my name. All right, FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. That'll get you started. Let's build a 3-leg parlay. How many times they talk about the Bills in a tailspin, even though they have lost on the road at Baltimore and Houston? How many times they talk about the Jets' sorry franchise, and how many coaches Aaron Rodgers has gotten fired? I don't think you can do that, but you could have fun anyway. FanDuel.com/Adam Gold. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel. FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Football is on the menu tonight.
Showtime, prime time.
And we're dishing up a clash of conferences.
Hot dog, man.
It's Buffalo and the New York Jets.
Dominate on 3, 1, 2, 3, dominate.
Pregame starts at 7:30. Kickoff at 8:15.
Put up or shut up time.
The NFL on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Med.
Here we go.
99.9 The Fan, the Triangle sports leader.
Monday night, you gotta feel it.
Connection, opportunity, possibility. It's what we all want. Spectrum has built a world where anything is possible, with products and services designed to work better together for a seamless connectivity experience. A connection to family and friends, a connection to education, and a connection to new opportunities. So there's no limit to how big we can dream. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Adam Gold here from my friends at Travers LASIK and Dr. Lori Travers, the only LASIK specialist in the Triangle. And twice in the last week, people have asked me, how was it? And I've told them it's great. Not only is it great, but it's been great for about a dozen years. That's right. I met Dr. Lori Travers more than 10 years ago. She took me from 20/250 to 20/20 vision, and, pardon the pun, I have never looked back. I want you to do the same thing. 919-510-6830. You can get a free consultation. We love free. Also, 2 years, 0 interest financing is available. Takes about 5 minutes per eye, and you could go back to work the very next day. 919-510-6830. TraversLASIK.com. If you are sick and tired of glasses and contacts, Dr. Lori Travers needs to be your next call. 919-510-6830 for Travers LASIK. The consultation is free. Perfect. TraversLASIK.com.
From the Canes to the Panthers to all of the college sports in the Triangle, we cover it all on the Best of the Drive with Tim Donnelly podcast. Brought to you by Coach Pete at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Visit us at capitalfinancialusa.com.
Are you in charge of running the building maintenance plays at your workplace? If you're facing roofing issues, you gotta get RoofWorks into the game. Hi, this is Holly with RoofWorks. You can count on us to be your MVP when it comes to taking care of your commercial building roof. We handle leaky roof repair, coatings, total replacements, upfits, and we even do commercial gutters. Let us show you what a valuable addition we are to your building maintenance team. Contact us today online at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, North Carolina's injury lawyers.
Visit GotBryan.com.
That's GotBryan.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Here's the snap. Dalton throws for the end zone. Brought in by Deontay Johnson, who chucks the ball into the stands. A souvenir for a lucky fan in the 200 section. And it's 6-0 Carolina. 10 seconds. Andy pumps, floats one back in the end zone. Brings it in. Ride dollar bill. Xavier Legette. He does the horse ride, and the Panthers get the TD.
That was such a good drive, that last drive right before the end of the half.
I do like his little horse rides, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's very Xavier.
Well, we've said, Xavier Legette is fun.
Yeah.
He's just super fun.
And I like to hear him talk.
He's awesome. But honestly, he's starting to come around. It's not all great because he makes a lot of mistakes and there's some shaky routes and, like, don't stop there, keep going. There's a bunch of things. I think there was it that route that Andy Dalton threw, and like if Legette keeps running, then there is room to run. I think it was him. Might have been JT Sanders. Either way, there's something there with some of these players. Right now, their bigger problem, believe it or not, is on the defensive side of the ball. But we're not here to talk about the Panthers right now. We are here to talk about how you can't keep the ACC out of the playoff. Mark Packer, ACC PM, ACC Network. Sir, how are you on this fabulous Monday morning?
Adam, first of all, it's afternoon now, right?
It is. That's right. I have no – gosh, I feel like I just got up. I do.
The good news is it's October, and who doesn't love October? I mean, the weather's great. There's all kinds of sports going on. You got the college thing going on, obviously. Great pros. You got the postseason baseball.
Yeah.
Hockey's rocking. NFL's doing its thing. Basketball's right around the corner. It's really the best time of the year. It's a fantastic time. It really is.
It is great, and of course, daytime high temperatures in the low 70s is also good. All right, I mentioned when we set this up yesterday. Miami is right there where I don't know if we thought they would be here. We hoped they would be here. We keep waiting for Mario Cristobal to happen, but Cam Ward might prevent that. But Clemson is also playing maybe better than Miami, probably better than Miami is playing at this point. But then you've got Pitt and you've got SMU all playing at a high level. SMU's only loss was the field goal loss to BYU in the rock fight from like week 2 or week 3 of the season. First of all, are you optimistic at more than 2 ACC teams in the playoff?
More than 2, I think two's the sweet spot number, Adam. I think, obviously the ACC champs locked and loaded to go, but the way it looks sitting here at the halfway point, I mean, the chances for the combination of Clemson and Miami, for argument's sake, look pretty good. Pitt continues to do its thing, even though it struggled for the first time offensively this weekend against a Cal defense that's legit. NC State's going to find that out this weekend in Berkeley. And you look at SMU's schedule, and again, you can get goofy with your schedules, but SMU's looking around going, hey, we don't see Miami, we don't see Clemson, and we'll take our chances with everybody else. So I think you could get a combination of more than 2 teams that win 10 or more games, but at the end of the day, when it gets to the pecking order that, hey, your champion goes, you better have something on the resume more than just say, hey, we won double digit and win. So I think 2 is the magic number for the ACC, but if you told me today they get 3, I think Jim Phillips and every ACC fan would sign up for it.
So here's what I hope the narrative will be, because in the grand scheme of things, you and I are in alignment here. If SMU finishes the season 11-1, even though we know that there's nothing but Hostess cupcakes the rest of the way for them, not that you can always lose a game. I should say that out loud first. But if SMU finishes 11-1 and Clemson and Miami meet as undefeated ACC teams in the ACC championship game, first of all, I'm not sure how the tiebreaker works out if SMU wouldn't shoehorn their way in there at some point. But if SMU is left out as an 8-0 ACC team because there are 2 other 8-0 ACC teams, I just don't know how they can not look like hypocrites if they hold SMU accountable for their schedule, even though they tried when they played BYU, as opposed to Ohio State, who I think will be crowned MAC champion for their non-conference schedule.
Well, the only thing I'd tell you is I know every year is a different year, a different committee. But, man, I just take it back to last year. Florida State was 13-0 and actually had beaten people of note.
Yeah.
And they didn't make the cut. Now, granted, the field's 12 this year, not 4. But the point of it is just because you have a gaudy number sitting there as your overall record, at the end of the day, you got to have quality wins. Because let's be honest, whatever the combination of teams that we're discussing in the ACC that are not the ACC champ, they're going to be being compared to the 9-3, 10-2, 11-1 SEC teams. Same thing with the Big Ten. Whether that be a combination of Michigan, Penn State, Indiana, Ohio State, whatever shows up on that end. So, again, we got such a long way to go. And I went to that whole mock thing 6-7 years ago, and I thought it was fascinating. And to be honest with you, the only time the committee got it wrong as far as being consistent was last year with Florida State. It was the first time they went against everything they ever preached or stood for. So we'll see where this thing goes. I mean, we're living in crazy times. I mean, listen, Army and Navy are ranked for the first time since 1960 in the AP poll. Not that the AP poll is the judgment, but that's all we got until the committee comes out with the only poll that matters on November the 5th. But the good news for the league since we're kind of spinning it that way in this conversation, is it's not just, as it's been in the past, Clemson and nobody else, or Florida State and nobody else. The league at the halfway point at least has a couple candidates that if they can keep their nose clean and not have the major stumble, should be at least in the conversation when we get into the middle of November into late November.
Yeah, I think Clemson probably has more stumbling blocks ahead of them than Miami does. But I think, as I kind of joked about, Mario Cristobal brings with him a stumbling block. We're just waiting for something like that to happen. Hopefully it doesn't, because watching Cam Ward play at this level is absolutely amazing. But I want to go to the Tigers.
Hold on a second, Adam. I would say one thing though. And I agree with you with Cristobal. I'm not so sure he's already had that stumbling block and was saved.
Right.
I mean, quite frankly, Miami could be just as easy going LL after what we watched in California in the end of that Virginia Tech game without some help. And listen, you got to be good. You got to be talented. Miami's both of those. But, man, you also got to be lucky. And I don't care if you're Georgia, Alabama, Miami, you fill in the blank. You got to catch some breaks. And I think Miami's already caught 2 major breaks, to be honest with you.
Real quick about the Miami-Virginia Tech ending. Is it fair to say they got the call right at the end, but the way they got there was the worst possible look?
100% right. And when I was watching the game, I couldn't believe they ruled it a touchdown. Like the refs after a discussion, a touchdown. Went, man, I didn't think anybody had the ball. Then you watch all the replays. Another 6-7 minutes later, you're like, well, Virginia Tech won the game because there's no way they can overturn the call on the field, which was a touchdown. Of course, I was wrong on that front, but I think you're correct. At the end of the day, the ending was correct, but how they got there was completely wrong.
Oh my God! I feel so bad for Virginia Tech. They thought they had that win, but again, I think it was an incomplete pass. All right, are the Clemson Tigers legit, or have they just taken advantage of the competition that's been in front of them?
Maybe both. The competition has not been great. Of course, when you looked at the schedule before the season, you're thinking, man, that NC State-Clemson game is going to be huge.
Right.
And NC State's rolled over and played dead, and I'm stunned with what I've seen from NC State, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
We thought App State, App State's always good. And then, they were a complete, total wash in that game. So I think Clemson's playing better than anybody in the league right now. Their offense is legit, and so is Georgia. Listen, they played a lousy. Everybody's dumped on Clemson getting beat 34-3, but if you watch the game, it's 6-0 at the half.
Yeah.
You're thinking, well, anything can happen here. Georgia played a great 30 minutes of football to win that game the way they did, and they were the better team. But I think Clemson's pretty good. Again, we're going to find out. You mentioned the schedule. It picks up in November when Louisville, who, by the way, Dabo's never lost to them, but Louisville's legit. A trip to Virginia Tech. Dabo's never lost to them either. And then a trip to Pittsburgh. And to my knowledge, I don't think Clemson's ever won at Pitt. So, it'll all take care of itself one way or the other. But I think if you're a Clemson fan watching this team, especially after the first game debacle in the second half against Georgia, they have responded. Listen, the schedule is the schedule. But Clemson fans have to really be happy with the way they watch Cade Klubnik and this offense perform. And the defense is always salty.
Yeah, and South Carolina's not going to be easy at the end in a rivalry game.
Right.
I mean, I've seen South Carolina at times look really good this season. Miami doesn't have as much in front of them, but again, I don't know where you'd put Cam Ward in terms of the Heisman Trophy, but I mean, he is way up there on the list for me. Travis Hunter, I know is hurt now for Colorado, but I mean, for me, it was Travis Hunter because he impacts both sides of the ball so well. But, I mean, I think Cam Ward's a definite candidate.
I think he's absolutely on a short list. And again, we were only at the halfway point, so a lot of stuff is going to happen the rest of the way. But I think if you're sitting here and you're being legit as far as, hey, are there 5 Heisman candidates? Who are they? If you didn't have Cam Ward in that top 5, you haven't paid attention or you're an idiot. He's got to be on the list.
All right, you mentioned Mark Packer is joining us at Mark Packer on Twitter, ACC Network. You mentioned the disappointment that has been NC State. I think the disappointment for me has been on the defensive side of the ball where they look like they just can't stop anybody. I think they beat Syracuse if they don't. I mean, a couple of turnovers were unfortunate. The strip sack was unfortunate for Bailey. I thought the interception, I think Raphael probably needs to do better in terms of catching that ball. It did go through. Was it high? Yeah, but it did go through both hands. So you probably need to bring that one down. Either way, joint blame there. But I thought they did a lot of good things offensively to win that game, but they can't stop anybody when it matters. And to me, that's been the disappointment for the Wolfpack.
Major disappointment. Listen, I had Miami and NC State in the ACC championship game, and I think the last time I was on with you, I told you we did the NC State road tour, and Dave Doran's a good football coach, and I think he even thought, hey, this is a really good club. They did a nice job in the NIL. They brought in the right parts. They increased the offensive production. You always trust Tony Gibson's defense and concept, even though, with Peyton Wilson being out, you're like, okay, who's the next guy up? But you just figured NC State would get that figured out. I've been stunned watching them play. And, you went through the litany of things that happened on Saturday night. C.J. Bailey's the future. There's no question. He's got huge upside. He's going to be a really good quarterback for the Pack. But defensively, I mean, it's hard to watch them. It's like, man, I just don't even recognize this team based on the consistency that they've played with for years past. And, running the football has been a problem for the last couple of years, it seems like. And Jordan Waters coming from Duke, I thought that was the solution. But they've not run the ball consistently well. It's been a combination of everything. I mean, one week the defense doesn't tackle, and the next week the offense is good. And it's kind of all over the place. But I would have, if I was a betting man, and I'm not, if you would have told me in the middle of August, NC State rolling in the halfway point sub 500, I'd have told you you're crazy. But it is what it is. And, the Wolfpack's been a disappointment. Mac Brown in North Carolina have been a disappointment. Go figure that Manny Diaz is coming to the rescue. And, again, we'll find out more about Duke on Friday night when they get a chance to snap maybe one of the all-time streaks where they're 0 for life against Florida State. And if there's ever a year to do it, this is the year to do it if you're Duke.
Yeah, and Duke is as good as anybody in the country in disrupting you in the backfield. They're among the league leaders in sacks and tackles for loss. And Manny Diaz, we talked to him a couple of weeks ago, they've got their defense believing, and their offense is good enough. I mean, not to mention what Star Thomas is just incredible.
Player. Yep.
I mean, New Mexico State must have had a heck of a team. They provided Vanderbilt with their quarterback.
I mean, when they rolled in and beat up on Auburn, of course, everybody beats up on Auburn, despite Nick Saban saying it's such a tough place to play.
Right.
Only Nick had a problem there. Everybody else is wearing Auburn out. But you're right. I mean, they've had some dudes. And, again, it just goes to show you, the world of the portal, that if you're paying attention and you're on top of your game, you can find a couple pieces that just kind of trigger everything. And, again, I go back to how crazy it is that Army and Navy are both ranked this week. So you got, there's only 4 teams that didn't take a player in the portal: Clemson, Army, Navy, Air Force, and 3 of the 4 were in the top 25 this week. So for everybody's been barking about the portal, that's the only way to do it. Maybe not. Maybe everybody should take a step back and try to figure it out. But again, you can find dudes. And again, Manny's done a really nice job, especially given what he had when he got on campus and everybody had left. I mean, everybody was gone. He put an amazing roster together in a short period of time. But of the 22, Duke's 0-22 all time against Florida State. And I looked it up because I was just curious. Only one of those 22 losses has been in single digits. Again, given what we've seen with Florida State, who I don't think anybody would argue is the biggest disappointment at the halfway point in college football, nobody saw them coming in 1-5. For the Blue Devils Friday night, it is the golden opportunity, without question.
I can't wait for the first ever, not first ever because it won't be, but probably the first time in 70 years that Army and Navy were both ranked when they meet in December. Mark Packer, at Mark Packer on Twitter, ACC Network. Thank you very much for joining the program today. We'll do it again soon.
Adam, anytime. Take care of yourself.
You got it. Mark Packer here on the Adam Gold Show. When we come back, I'll tell you what I loved, even about the Panthers' loss, because I think there was stuff to love about the Panthers, even though they lost, 38-20.
Yes.
Specific reason that I was encouraged, and it wasn't a complete disaster Friday night at Lenovo Center. Yes, the Hurricanes lost, but ... I'll finish that sentence next.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
Jordan Moore delivers, and the Blue Devils have the lead.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford and by Amedios.
With all these new winners at the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club, we need to decide who's in charge.
We need a top prize winner.
We need someone who's good with words, like us crossword winners.
If elected leader, I will extend the hours during which all winners can use the diamond-encrusted hot tub.
Yes.
New scratch-offs mean new winners. This month's tickets are packed with $370 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.04 to 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hey, John. Why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. And there's no time like now to help Western North Carolina recover from Hurricane Helene. Through October 19th, participating Bojangles are donating all proceeds from Bowberry biscuit sales to hurricane relief efforts in Western North Carolina. So when you buy a Bowberry biscuit from Bojangles, you'll be doing something good and getting something good. What are you waiting for? It's Help Western North Carolina time.
At the UPS Store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable.
Mitchell Heating and Cooling. We do the job right every time.
Protect your heating and cooling system like my offensive line protects me. I'm Drake May, quarterback at UNC. Mitchell Heating and Cooling has been committed to your comfort for 50 years and counting. Call Mitchell Heating and Cooling today.
Contact us now at mitchellhvac.com or 919-556-5069. Train. It's hard to stop a train.
The best solutions every time.
Keep pounding. Panther Talk, Panthers Playbook, the paw print. Follow your Carolina Panthers all season with us.
10 seconds. Andy pumps, floats one back to the end zone. Brings it in. Xavier Leggett. He does the horse ride, and the Panthers get the TD.
Your home for complete Carolina Panthers coverage. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports leader. This is Adam Gold.
Thank you very much for your time, man. We will talk again.
Adam? Yeah, Adam. Anytime for you, my friend.
Thank you. I don't know why it makes me laugh. Why does that make me laugh?
I don't know. Maybe you just are used to people being mean to you or something, like Twitter. I don't know.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. As far as I can tell, 1957 is the last time that Army and Navy were both ranked when they played. And in 1944 and 1945, it was a 1 versus 2 matchup. Army won both of those. But again, college football, I'm trying to do the math now. We're 2024, 1957 is what? 70-some-odd years ago. 77 years ago?
No, 67.
67 years ago. Again, math is on the fly. Math.
It's all right.
Should never do it. Nobody should ever do math
That's
on the
not
fly
our
like
field.
that.
No.
67. I was close. I had the 7 part right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 67 years ago. It's a different planet. Like college football is not even close.
I mean, cell phones weren't a thing. Like it was.
Yeah, something tells me they probably were. We just didn't know about it.
Yes, on the moon.
So it had to be, right? Yeah. So this could be unbelievable if they're both ranked when we get to that point. Right now, they're 1-2 in the American. All right, well, I'll get to the Panthers in a second because I think there was some stuff about the Panthers that are absolutely, I think, encouraging, and I want to highlight those. But real quick about what happened on Friday night at Lenovo Center. Hurricanes opened up the season at home against the Tampa Bay Lightning, and final score, Tampa 2, Carolina 1. Carolina had a 1-0 lead in the first period. It wasn't a great first period for Carolina. What it was, however, was an awesome final 6 minutes of the first period. Because part of my job is to track how these things, the progress of the game. And I actually tweeted out, if you go back in my timeline, I don't know how far you have to go back because I tweet dumb stuff all weekend. There was a point where Tampa had outshot Carolina 7-1. And the only shot and this was through about 14 minutes of the first half, of the first period. The only shot was an Andrei Svechnikov little mini break-in from the left-hand side where, honestly, you'd like to see him score. I mean, he went backhand, forehand, backhand, and he just, Vasilevsky, he just gloved it down. You'd like to see Svechnikov score there. But that happened like 2 minutes into the game. The Hurricanes had no shots on goal for like the next 10 or 12 minutes. And then Jordan Staal scored. It's a great play by the Martinook-Staal-Carrier line where Martinook forced the turnover. Carrier stole the puck, wrapped it around in front of Staal for an easy tap in. That was the second shot on goal. And I think that goal came at the 6-minute mark. I was in the process of tweeting the Hurricanes have 1 shot on goal and then 2.
Of course.
Right? It always happens like this. But the next 6, the rest of the period, Carolina just dominated. Jack Roslovic had a breakaway. Jacob Slavin had a breakaway. Andrei Svechnikov had another great scoring chance that he didn't finish. All before the end of the first period. It was 1-0, but man, it could have been 2, maybe even 3. Okay, they get none. They just get the 1. You go into the locker room, blah. Then you take a penalty early in the second period, and Tampa needs 12 seconds off the face-off to score. Happens. Tampa's power play has always been kryptonite to Carolina's penalty kill. Tampa's power play and the Rangers' power play have traditionally given Carolina a hard time. It is what it is. So it was I think it was their second power play of the game. They scored on it. Tampa was 2 for 6 in the power play. The last time these two teams played in Raleigh, the Hurricanes got beat 8-2.
Yikes.
And they scored 4 power play goals in 5 tries and had 8 goals on 14 shots. Think about that.
Not pretty. Yeah.
8 goals on 14 shots. So the Canes it's 1-1. 3 minutes after Tampa made it 1-1, Carolina's coming on a 2-on-1. Seth Jarvis passes it to Andrei Svechnikov right in front, and Andrei misses the net. That's got to be a goal. Has to be a goal. Andrei misses the net. He had 5 grade A scoring chances in the game and scored none. So, I am not sitting here telling you that the Hurricanes played a great game. They were bad. They were not good. But neither was Tampa. Tampa wasn't even as good as Carolina was. What Tampa did was, in 17 seconds of power play, of their 6 power play tries, they scored twice. That was the difference in the game. That's it. Tampa didn't generate much at all at even strength. Their 2 best chances at even strength both ended up on the stick of Nikita Kucherov, and Freddie Anderson stopped them on both of those tries. They were both very, they were both high danger opportunities, and Anderson beat him both times. And after the game, because the Hurricanes lost 2-1, and I get it, we were terrible. Yeah, you weren't great. I'm not arguing that the Hurricanes were good, because they weren't. Sebastian Aho was non-existent in the game. Martin Necas was not great. They passed the puck poorly. It looked to me like a team that wasn't up to regular season speed, which they probably weren't. The only line that looked normal was Stahl, Martinook, Carrier, because what other option do they have? They can only play one way. And I do think that Carolina's skill players were trying to play a skill game. And at the beginning of the season, everybody's got to be playing an effort game, because it's always going to be weird looking at the beginning of the year. But the only separator in this game was Tampa's power play versus Carolina's. Well, special teams. Tampa's special teams versus Carolina. Carolina's power play looked bad. There were a couple of moments, but they weren't good. And obviously the penalty kill, which other than those 2 goals, which is sort of like saying, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? But the other 4, really 3 kills, because there was a 4-second power play. The other 3 kills look really good, which frankly I've never seen them look really good against Tampa's power play. It's usually been, man, how did they not score there when they get done with the 2 minutes? But I thought Carolina's penalty kill on the other 3 real power plays was very good. But Tampa doesn't need much to get 2 goals. So that was the difference in the game. I thought Freddie Anderson, and a lot of people were upset that Anderson started, myself included. I wanted Kochetkov to start. But Anderson played a very good game, except the second goal. Second goal can't go. It's a one-timer for Kucherov above the right faceoff circle. That shot cannot beat the goaltender cleanly. If there's a screen, I get it. There wasn't a screen. And also, the pass was not from far enough across the ice where Anderson has to go post to post, and you wouldn't even go all the way to the post on this because Kucherov wasn't to the right of the circle. He was like in the middle of the circle above it. So it's not a really sharp angle shot. It's a goal that can't go. But as I said before, I thought Anderson played a really good game. My problem is not with Freddie. Yeah, you got to have the second goal. Especially since it's a 1-1 hockey game, you needed that save. But the Hurricanes lost the game because the Hurricanes, while not being good, had plenty of chances to score and didn't. Which I understand a lot of Hurricanes fans will point out has been the case before. But that was a game where they had the opportunity to win. And if Andre buries the shot after Braden Point's power play goal makes it 1-1, if Andre buries that, we might be talking about a Hurricanes team that went on to a 2-1 or a 3-1 win, as opposed to losing 4-1 when Kucherov had 2 empty net goals I can't even believe we call that a hat trick, but it is a hat trick.
Yeah, they did.
It's just whatever. Oh, yeah, a hat trick. First star. I'm like, oh, gosh. You're giving a guy credit for two. I mean, you get them. They count. I'm not, but my gosh. Andre Vasilevsky was Tampa's best player. All right. Now to the Panthers. Let's talk about why I really believe that there was some encouraging things about their loss. So here's what we know about the Panthers. They cannot stop the run. Haven't been able to stop the run in 2 years. Pass defense is also a problem. They can't pressure the quarterback now. 6 sacks in 6 games. If they have 16 sacks on the season, and that's what they're pacing at, then this will be among the worst defenses in the history of the NFL. But I want to take you through a sequence that I think should give Panthers fans some hope, at least from the sideline perspective.
We'll take it.
All right? So, and on top of the fact that I think there are some personnel pluses to look at. So, let me set it up this way. The Panthers are, it's a 7-7 game. Falcons have the ball, sort of driving, and the Ray McLeod fumble gives the Panthers the ball in the Falcons side of the field. Carolina settles for a field goal, which is disappointing. Right? They only drove it. I think they picked up 1 first down and then ultimately settled for a field goal. So disappointing that you get the ball in plus territory and you settle for a field goal. You take a 10-7 lead. Okay, so a little bit of a bummer. Falcons, because if they don't turn it over, did they punt? They might have punted late. Right? If they don't turn it over, they're going to move the ball enough to at least maybe turn it over on downs.
Right.
Right? So Falcons go down and score, and because of what I think was maybe a bogus penalty, they end up going for 2. Right? And they get it. It's 15-10. Then Carolina punts. I think they picked up a first down on the first play. Maybe not, but they end up punting the ball. And the Falcons score again, and it's 22-10. At the end of that drive that Atlanta had put together to go up 22-10, Dave Canales is calling timeouts because he wants to have time at the end of the half so Carolina will have an opportunity to maybe get some points on the board, get a little momentum back. And I thought, this is kind of gutsy right here. Because as the Panthers took possession of the ball with like 150 or so on the clock, all I could think of was, this could go really wrong. Incomplete pass, incomplete pass, incomplete pass. Now you're giving the ball back to Atlanta with all 3 timeouts and probably not awful field position. Let's just say the 20. But all 3 of their timeouts at about 1:35. Yeah. The way they've moved the ball against Carolina's defense, Dave Canales is risking the game being over at halftime. But what do you have to lose? And you have to show some confidence in your offense. So he did. And the offense paid it off. Dalton was really good on that drive. They found young receivers in that drive.
That was exciting.
Coker had 2 catches in that drive. Leggett scored the touchdown. JT Sanders, the tight end, had a big play. I mean, that was a really good drive. And it wasn't like, I know Chuba Hubbard caught a couple of passes. Actually, one was called back due to a penalty. But so such an encouraging, gutsy decision to risk having the game end in front of you before halftime. And then you go into the locker room and you've got a chance. You're like 22-17 down. I mean, you legitimately were in position to make that a game the rest of the way.
100%.
Because of that decision. And then we get to 28-20. You get the ball, and it was at that point. I'm going to say one thing about Dave Canales here in a second. That bothered me a little bit, but we'll get to it in a second. that drive that when you got the ball back and it was 28-20, which was run heavy, I think it was 4 straight carries for Chuba Hubbard, right? Like 8 yards, 5 yards, 12 yards, 8 yards. I mean,
think I know where you're going with this.
Huge chunks of yards.
Yes.
And then after you throw a pass, then after a 2-yard gain with Hubbard on first down, Dalton play action fake. It wasn't a great play action fake. Like, one guy did bite, one linebacker did bite on it. But Dalton then rolls out the other way, and he's trying to throw to Sanders, JT Sanders, probably 15 yards down the field. But he's got double coverage. It was a dumb throw. You had a check down on the right sideline. I believe it was Deontay Johnson. You could have picked up 6, 7, 8 yards, and that would have been great. Might have gotten you a first down. But trying to get too much, that interception ultimately ended the game because Atlanta took it down the field and scored. Not on the interception, but the ensuing drive. But there were so many good things about the decision, the way they played out the end of the first half, and I loved the mindset of that drive. And now I will give my one bit of criticism to Dave Canales, and that is after the game, he realized that they hadn't committed to the running game more early. Now, in that 2-minute drill, you can't. But that's what, at some point, they'll figure out. The thing that they do the best is run the ball. Hubbard is having a great year. Lewis and Hunt are doing an amazing job at run blocking. Also, I'm trying to think if he committed a penalty, but I don't think they missed Austin Corbett.
Right.
I think Brady Christensen had a good game in the middle.
Yeah.
Right? So there are encouraging things that we have seen.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish that Dave Canales would have more of that run-the-ball commitment early in the game. Because to me, the way they were always going to beat Atlanta, if they were even going to do it, was controlling the ball, controlling the clock, keeping Atlanta's offense off the field.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I thought I saw some good things, and I've been super critical of this team. But Chuba Hubbard was absolutely dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
Did everything but score a touchdown.
Oh yeah, he was great.
Yep.
It was so good to see that.
So, and they didn't even bring Bryce in. Maybe they didn't have enough injuries on the offensive line.
I know.
To save Andy Dalton.
Like Swiss cheese. It still looked like a whole cheddar slice.
It was good. It was very good. All right, so Hurricanes, bad, but frankly should have been a win. And the Panthers lost, but I found some encouraging signs. We'll stretch. We'll place bets on the other side. This is the Adam Gold Show. It's a Monday afternoon. I don't know why I said good morning to Mark Packer, but I did at about 1:03. Yeah, it's morning somewhere. It's 5:00 a.m.
Yes.
Somewhere. We'll stretch and we'll place bets next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
I am Bruno Hinojosa and I live in Asheville. I work in construction and I just enrolled in NCAA Medicaid. I went to their website, applied, and got covered. Doctor visits, yearly checkups, and even emergency care if I need it. Being a business owner can be stressful at times, but knowing that I got covered, it just takes weight off my shoulders. And I can get the care that I need when I need it at low or no cost. And it's one less thing I need to worry about now.
NC Medicaid is for more people. See if you qualify at medicaid.nc.gov.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and Week 6 of the NFL is almost over, but not before the Buffalo Bills do more damage to the New York Jets. America's #1 sportsbook is FanDuel, and new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win a bet on tonight's game, like Josh Allen or James Cook scoring a touchdown. I mean, it doesn't seem like it gets any easier than that, but who knows? What do I know? Anyway, take advantage of that. Win your bet. FanDuel.com/AGS. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel. FanDuel.com/AGS, and FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Some call it overplanning. At Alternative Power, we call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Generac, it's not just a generator, it's a power move. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Psst. Hello there. It's me, your internal clock. Yes, the one you sleep through on weekends. You've probably heard my TikToks, but I'm straight up sounding the bell now. It's almost time to start applying for college. That means you got transcripts to gather, letters of rec to request, and campus tours to schedule. But hey, we got time, and we've got CFNC. CFNC.org can help us plan, apply, and pay for college. We got this, trust me. Just visit CFNC.org to help us stay on time.
Visiting the North Carolina Zoo in Asheboro is a family tradition, perfect for fun outdoor adventure. Founded in 1974, this year marks North Carolina Zoo's 50th anniversary, and the zoo is celebrating all year long. Enjoy the antics of the baboon babies, take a ride on the endangered species carousel, and wonder at the massive elephants of the Watani grasslands. Make cherished family memories today. Plan your trip at nczoo.org. Open 7 days a week in Asheboro.
Did you know? Atlantic hurricane season runs through November. From gathering necessary supplies to planning an evacuation route, now is the time to make sure you and your family are prepared. And if a storm damages our electric system, local public power providers are ready to respond and restore power quickly and safely. As a public power customer, you benefit from having an electricity provider that restores power faster than other providers do. Visit electricities.com for storm preparation tips and resources.
This is Adam Gold.
I had no idea John is a Cubs fan, too.
Yeah, I think that's a prerequisite to being the head coach at Duke. I made one comment about the Cubs to Mike Krzyzewski. Goes back a while ago. Talked about the pitching staff, and he goes, yeah, but I don't trust Victor Zambrano. I'm like, what?
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Victoria producing the program. We are about, 2 hours and 20 minutes or so away from first pitch, right? Mets-Dodgers, Game 2 of the National League Championship Series. The Yankees and the Guardians will go in the Bronx coming up tonight. So that is the cool thing about the LCS. They overlap, and you play Game 1 at night. Then then you get a day game, which I don't know. That's fine. Mets will play better today. They did not have a good game yesterday. So. Don't understand why they started who they started, but that's another matter altogether. Elliot Johnson will walk me through that tomorrow. He has a thought. So we'll talk more baseball tomorrow with Elliot Johnson. Right now, it's a little stretch time.
Oh, yes, and that's what we need for this Monday. And if you need some tips on how to be spooky, well, I'm here to help.
Please.
Because, and I'm also, I don't know if you've seen this, I've got pumpkin shoes on, so.
I didn't see your pumpkin shoes.
Yeah, it's the newest addition to my spooky wardrobe. Thank you, Michael. So, first thing up, 5 tips on how to find the perfect pumpkin. I didn't realize that there were tips, but there should be because it's just like watermelons. There's tips to find good ones. So, first of all, check the pumpkin for soft spots or signs of mold. Obviously, that means it's no good. It's already on the verge of death, so don't get it. Also, look for ones that have its handle or stem intact, because I guess that just means that it's going to, like, it's just at its ripest. It's perfect. Also, tap the outside of the pumpkin, because a hollow sound means it's more likely to be easier to carve if you're a carver of the sorts.
Really?
I know. I didn't know that either.
Are you a pumpkin carver?
Used to be. I mean, I like it. As a kid, I was always the one who was excited to clean it out because my mom thought it was disgusting, but that was my favorite part.
Your mom was right.
That was my favorite part, to clean out the middle of it. So, yeah. But I haven't carved it. It's probably been a few years since I carved it. But you know what? Maybe I should now that I know how to pick a good one. Also, they say look for pumpkins with flat walls and not deep ribs in case you are a carver, because obviously it'll help you do that.
Yes.
And last but not least, when you think you've found one, set it on a flat surface to be sure it sits upright and doesn't lean to one side, because you hate that when you find a good one and then you carve it and it doesn't even stand up straight. So there are some tips to help you find the perfect pumpkin for spooky season, because we're already halfway there. What the heck is going on? Where's October going?
Has flown. We are. Tomorrow is midway. Well, I guess Wednesday is the actual midpoint of October.
Yeah, but still, it's like, what is going? So yes, if you're, I know most people are in that mood. So while you're shopping, keep those in mind. Also, while you're shopping, there are trending Halloween costumes for 2024. And I don't know if this should make you feel old, because it makes me feel old to not know who some of these things are. So they have top overall costumes. First one, I know this because I've seen Beetlejuice, the shrunken head Bob from Beetlejuice. That's number one, apparently. So
really?
Yeah. Number two, however, I do know this one, especially you would too if you watch the Olympics. Reagan, the Australian breakdancer.
Oh, yes.
Yes, people are dressing up as her, so people will be breakdancing down the streets as they collect their goodies. But here's one I don't know. Cat Nap from a horror video game, Poppy Playtime? I have no idea.
Who that
That's
is.
number three, though. Dolores from Beetlejuice. I see a theme here with the Beetlejuice. Also another one, Pomni, the Amazing Digital Circus, whatever that is. But there are a couple. Lady Deadpool, could see that. And then Sabrina
Nice.
Carpenter. We're going to just have a bunch of Sabrina, because, every year there's always a pop culture person that's like, oh, let's be her for Halloween. Yeah, Sabrina Carpenter's that new person. Also, I love a good duo costume. I love cute duo costumes. And they've got their top however many, but a few of them, Wolverine and Deadpool. Have you seen that movie?
No.
It's great. So I hope I do see a bunch of Wolverines and Deadpools. Velvet and Veneer from the Trolls Band Together. Also haven't seen that one. This is cute. You could be Jack and Coke. I don't know how you...
Very good.
I don't know how you would dress up as either one, but, have fun with that one. They might make a big Coca-Cola can. The Jack might be different. But, yeah. Lightning McQueen and Sally from Cars. That would be cute. So, I don't know. Also, they threw out this one idea, a deer and a deer hunter. So, I don't know. I just love a good costume. So, there's some tips for you on what might be popular. Also, the most searched kids costume is Red from The Descendants, in case you're trying to figure out what you want your kid to be. And also, party theme searches is Beetlejuice. So prepare yourself if you're going to a Halloween party. A lot of people are going to have Beetlejuice. And then last but not least, the most searched Halloween decoration. Have you seen one of these? There is one in Raleigh, and I've seen it, and it's really cool. It is a 12-foot skeleton. I mean, that's dedication. Really? I don't know where you put it when you're done with it. But I've seen that in people's yards, and you know what? I respect it. I like it. I don't have room for it, but you know what? You do you.
Oh my gosh!
So, 12-foot skeleton.
There are people who really do it up.
They go big.
And I prefer to see you go nuts.
Yeah.
On Halloween, I'm not anti-Christmas. I'm very pro-Christmas and decorate. I don't care.
Sure.
People, it's too tacky. Yeah. Good luck. I mean, it's kind of intentionally tacky. So I mean, do it up. But I am more enamored by the Halloween look. Mm-hmm. By the way, where I live, which is not that far from, we're in the same latitude.
Yes, pretty much.
Pretty much. The Granville Haunt Farm.
Yes.
Is right there.
Uh-huh.
So I was driving north on US 15 the other day, or Saturday night, and I'm telling you that, have you ever gone to, was it Holly Ridge up in
I live up
Youngsville?
that way.
Right.
Yes, there are panic points up there.
So it was the same line of traffic.
Yep.
Holy cow.
Oh, yeah, it's fun every year. It's super fun.
They had police directing traffic up there.
Halloween and Christmas get that area both every year.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Happy Halloween.
I know. I'm excited for it. And I'm excited for us to hopefully make some good bets.
These will be scary.
Place your bets, do you? I bet you slice into the woods $100.
Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir, and I never slide.
Okay, you can owe me. I owe you nothing.
All right, we lost all the Hurricanes bets. Andre should have scored. We had it right.
Mm-hmm.
Andre didn't want us to have any happiness
I know.
on Friday night.
I know.
Andre should have scored.
He should
I don't
have.
remember what else we did. I think there's a lot of Hurricanes.
Yeah, I don't remember
Whatever.
Friday
You
well,
go.
but it's all football today. So, starting things off, if you've heard this, I have Dalton Kincaid on my fantasy. So let's go. Anytime touchdown score, Dalton Kincaid. It's plus 270, so there's good value in it anyway.
That is very good value for a Dalton Kincaid touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I don't know why I feel this way, but maybe because I want the Bills to put the Jets out of their misery, and I want the Jets to be buried because it's a train wreck, dysfunctional franchise. But I think the Jets are actually going to win this game. Jets and over 41.5 plus 268.
Oh, okay. Well, my next one, I was going to go with the Jets' total points in the game. I'm going to do the winner next, but the total points in this game for the Jets, I feel like it's going to be under 20.5, and that's minus 126. So put it in parlay, but I'm going with the under.
Very good.
We'll see.
All right, Breece Hall to score the first touchdown of the game.
That's very likely.
That's plus 490.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen to score the last touchdown of the game at plus 700.
Wow.
I'm not parlaying those. I'm just throwing those out there for the masses.
Both could happen, so I can see that. Well, my last one, it could go either way. They are in New York. I don't know if there's a home field advantage, but I feel like Josh Allen and the Bills are going to pull this one out, so I got to go with the Bills, and I was actually going to go with the under 41.5, so those together is
you're
plus
probably
215.
right.
So both of those together are plus 215.
In many ways, I could be picking the Jets to reverse jinx them.
I get that. I do that with the Panthers all the time.
All right, now we have two baseball playoff games today.
Mm-hmm.
Separately, or is this the last one? Is this the last bet to make?
Yes.
You've already made. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I lost track. Mets even the series with the Dodgers, but under 8.5. I think we're gonna have a low scoring game today. That is plus 283. Yankees minus a 1.5 against Cleveland, under 7.5 plus 363. If you want to parlay those together, it's plus 1679.
Oh, nice.
I'm
and
not sure you would.
I looked it up. Mets and Dodgers, they're at 408.
Right.
Yankees, Guardians.
808.
738.
Oh, 738.
Yes.
Look at that.
Even more random.
Earlier. I expected that to be an 8 o'clock game. That's good. All right, it'll give us plenty of time to get home from a high school soccer match and be able to watch that one. I might be watching the Mets and the Dodgers on my phone while at the soccer match. All right, when we come back, Wall of Sound, and then our friend Will Palaszczuk from Charlotte. He's going to talk Panthers and the successful team at Bank of America Stadium.
Serving it up hot and fresh every day. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Hey, it's Adam from my friend Coach Pete through the Capital Financial Advisory Group in Apex. Time to come up with your retirement plan. Let's let Coach Pete D'Arruda do that. He is the retirement planning guru, multi-time best-selling author, national TV radio shows, and he can get you to retirement with everything you need, no matter where you are on the employment spectrum. So let's call him right now, 888-843-0013, or text Adam to 600-700. Why should we call right now? Because the total customized retirement plan for you, a $1,000 value for somebody else, is free right now if you call. So let's do it. 888-843-0013 or text Adam to 600-700 for financial security in retirement. And Coach Pete D'Arruda, this is what you need to retire on your terms. Coach Pete.
Listen every afternoon for The Drive with Tim Donnelly.
Dave Canales and the Panthers, you now have to coach. There's no more big moves. You struggled early. You broke glass in case of emergency. You benched the quarterback. There's no other big moves to make. Now, you just have to coach. You need your players to play better. You need to scheme them better. You need to help them improve. From this point forward for the Panthers, it's just coaching.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 3 to 6 on 99.9 The Fan.
Looking for a deal that can't be beat? At Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford, we've got the offer you've been waiting for. Get 0% interest for 36 months on the 2024 Chevy Silverado 1500 LTZ. Plus, defer your payments for 90 days. Plus, get $3,750 in customer cash, $2,250 in trade assistance, and an exclusive $3,500 Wilkinson discount. That's over $9,500 in savings on your new Silverado. Visit Wilkinson Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC in Sanford or online at wilkinsoncars.com.
With all these new winners at the North Carolina Education Lottery Winners Club, we need to decide who's in charge.
We need a top prize winner.
We need someone who's good with words, like us crossword winners.
If elected leader, I will extend the hours during which all winners can use the diamond-encrusted hot tub.
Yes.
New scratch-offs mean new winners. This month's tickets are packed with $370 million in total prizes. The Winners Club awaits. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.04 to 4.31. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Did you know more women under 40 are getting breast cancer? Especially Black and Jewish women whose cancers are often more deadly. If you're a woman, talk to your doctor by age 25 about your breast cancer risk. The American College of Radiology recommends you ask your doctor if you should get a mammogram before age 40. Need other tests like an MRI with your yearly mammogram, or should be checked more than once a year. For more information, visit mammographysaves.lives.org.
Furnished by American College of Radiology.
Whether it's the future of college football or my love for the Ryder Cup, it's all found in the Best of the Adam Gold Show podcast, brought to you by Coach Pete at Capital Financial Advisory Group. Visit us at capitalfinancialusa.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to hims.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, Raleigh's injury lawyers.
Bounces his way into the end zone. Touchdown!
Visit GotBrian.com.
That's GotBrian.com. WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on radio, web, app, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Right-hand batter, bases loaded, and the pitch swung on a high fly ball. This is deep to left, backing up Green. He is at the wall. It's gone! It's gone! It's a grand slam! Thomas, a granny! He busts the baby wide open. Cleveland takes a 5-1
lead. That was, what was it, Saturday night's Game 5, where the Guardians eliminated the Tigers and ruined my plus 49,500 ticket on Mets-Tigers World Series.
How dare they?
Think about that.
How dare they?
Think about holding that ticket.
Oh, man.
For however long it was held.
If only.
If only. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Bagels on me for the next month. But it didn't work out, which is why it was plus 49,500, to be perfectly honest. But we do have the Guardians and the Yankees tonight, and the Mets and the Dodgers today. We are just over 2 hours from first pitch there. Tomorrow we'll talk baseball with Elliot Johnson.
Yeah.
I watched, I know there was a football game on last night.
Yeah.
Nah, man.
Yeah.
It was one of those, we were driving home from where we're going to be, where we were actually, and Aileen said to me, Mets play tonight, don't they? I said, yes. She goes, are you excited? I said, actually, yeah. Are you going to be okay? I'm like,
maybe.
No. And I was.
That would be
look, here's where I will have anxiety. Have a lead, taste the chance to win, not just the game, but the series, right? Because my anxiety in Game 4 against Philadelphia was, this is when you need to grab this series and win it. So going into the ninth inning of Game 4, I did have that anxiety.
Right.
And I told everybody on Friday, I watched it after the fact. I watched the entire top of the ninth inning after the game was over. That was on Wednesday night, actually. After the game was over. So I was feeling it that way. But going into the series at 0-0 in the series, I wasn't going to get bent out of shape if they lost the game, and I didn't. I watched it unfold in very predictable fashion for me. The Mets starting pitcher, Kodai Senga, refused to throw a strike in the first inning. He got Shohei Ohtani out to lead off the game. Got him on a weak ground ball to lead off for the first out, and then proceeded to forget how to throw strikes to the next three batters. It's bases loaded, one out.
Right.
He was lucky that the fly ball that I guess it was Will Smith, fly ball to center field that should have been deep enough to score the run, was not only played poorly by the Mets center fielder, Tyrone Turner, I don't know his name, whatever his name is. He played it poorly in that he was not in a good throwing position because it wasn't that deep, but it was Mookie Betts at third base. So if he wanted to go, he was going to make it. For whatever reason, he didn't go.
Yeah.
He bluffed him like, what are you doing? So it was bad defense and worse base running. Dodgers had the bases loaded with 2 outs. If Senga makes a better pitch to Max Muncy, maybe he gets out of the inning and a little bit of momentum, but he didn't. So the Dodgers scored twice in that inning and one in the next inning because Senga refused to throw strikes. I think he walked 4 in an inning plus. And you just can't do that. Dodgers are too good. Can't give him base runners.
Is Will Smith's nickname Bel Air? Because all I can think is
he should be the Fresh Prince.
Yeah,
so
that's all I can think.
Dodgers, you can't give them opportunities like that.
No.
And the Mets handed it to them. But the Dodgers were also good enough to take it. Mets had a couple of opportunities in the middle innings, but didn't go. By the way, the Dodgers are on a stretch right now. They have thrown 33 consecutive scoreless innings. That, as a team.
Wow.
That is exceptional.
Yeah.
Ties a postseason record with the 1966 Baltimore Orioles, who, by the way, were pretty doggone good. I believe won the World Series in 66. If the Dodgers retire the Mets in the first inning, they will hold the postseason record for consecutive scoreless innings.
Wow.
So,
it's crazy.
With all that said, Wall of Sound time.
The Wall of Sound is a function of this studio. There's no doubt about it.
I guess the bigger picture thing there is that I'm okay. I was fine watching it. I was at peace with whatever happens. All right. Speaking of at peace. Now, of all the things that happened this weekend that we should talk about, mention, the most human is the emotions of everybody over in Chapel Hill. Tylee Kraft, highly regarded wide receiver coming out of high school, has been at North Carolina since, I believe, 2020. was diagnosed with a rare form of lung cancer 2 years ago and passed away before the game Saturday. Here's Mack Brown after the game talking about it.
We just heard that we lost Tylee Kraft this morning. He passed. We knew he was really sick, and talking about it, we said that to the players on Thursday at practice that we felt like he was going to hospice, and they all know what that means, and that he probably had 2 days to 2 weeks. So they all ran to see him and basically hugged him and talked to him and laughed with him, and then we didn't know. We didn't know if he was going to make it this morning before the game. And you have to figure out how you're going to tell a group, and what a difficult thing to tell a group of young people about one of their best friends. But this is part of life, and we got to learn to utilize the days we have to the best of our ability, because we don't control how many that we do have. And I will say, and this young man fought so hard for his 2.5 years. The doctors told us he outlived what he should have. And he did it with a spirit, and he did it with a smile on his face, and he didn't miss a meeting. He didn't miss practice. He coached these other young people. So, I mean, he's just an incredible young person.
Mack Brown has not had a good 5th year in Chapel Hill. Sixth year. Has not had a good 6th year. But I can't think of anybody that I would rather have as my head coach at this particular time. It's not a knock on anybody else. I think this is Mac's second, Mac 2.0 has been one of, I think, just humanity. So, thoughts with all the people over in Chapel Hill, the entire football community over there, and to the Kraft family. All right, to what happened at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte, where I thought the Panthers played a, for them, pretty good football game. Defense is no good. Atlanta's offense is too good. They're too good running the ball and throwing the ball. So they are not one-dimensional in any way, shape, or form. But I thought the Panthers, until the Andy Dalton interception at 28-20, they were in that ball game, and Dave Canales on the message to the team.
Game came down to finish. Down a score right there. We're running the ball really well, and throwing an interception on that drive. They turned it around into points right away, and the game got away from us there. The message to the team was just consistency. Can we just play consistent football, still working through all the issues that we need to work through, but can we keep taking steps, where you come out of a game and you feel like, there was balance to what we were doing.
I just wish they had made a concerted effort to run the ball earlier. But again, 28-20, the drive right before the end of the first half was awesome. 28-20, you are right in it. And then the Dalton interception. And that drive, that was the most impressive that their offensive line looked. I mean, just blowing massive holes in the Falcons' defensive front. I mean, Chuba Hubbard was 6 yards downfield before he met anybody for the most part.
It was excited seeing a Panther do that on the field. It's been a while.
They were good. They were good. Then really a bad decision by Andy Dalton as much as anything else. All right, one more thing before we break. Cowboys got trucked by Detroit. 47-9. Wow. Okay. So Booger McFarland of ESPN, he is worried for Dallas.
It's going to be trouble. Parsons is not going to be back for a while. DeMarcus Lawrence is not going to be back. Dak is making uncharacteristic mistakes for a player of his ilk. I just don't know how quick it can get fixed in Dallas, and that's a problem for a team that has a quarterback making $60 million a year, and for an owner who openly says, I want a championship. He openly says that, and they don't look anywhere close to that now.
You know what's funny? And this is just, you could chalk it up to one of two things. One, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, which I just brought it up, so obviously I think it's a possibility. And two, Jerry Jones can't help himself. There was a time where it looked like Dallas was not going to sign Dak Prescott to a contract and not going to sign CeeDee Lamb to a contract. And I thought, man, Jerry Jones is about that. He's about letting Dak walk off and let somebody else pay him. He's about CeeDee Lamb letting him walk away and let somebody else pay him. Although I think he would have gotten to CeeDee Lamb in the end, because the rest of that team isn't good. They don't run the ball. Their defense, especially, any injury was gonna hurt them. Their offensive line is expensive and not as good as it used to be. Defensively, they were beholden really on a handful of players, and 2 of them are down now. I thought that Jerry Jones was just going to reset. Nope. Paid his quarterback and his wide receiver $500 million, and now it's they don't look any good at all. All right, Will Palaszczuk. He is the voice of Charlotte FC, but does post-game for the Panthers, also works with the Hornets. He does everything in the city of Charlotte. He's also a Mets fan. I told you we're everywhere.
Oh, wow,
We are everywhere. We'll get to the Mets at some point. But we'll talk Panthers and a little bit about the fact that Dean Smith has worked magic with CFC, and they are in the playoffs for MLS. But we'll talk about the Panthers first, next.
Going beyond the box scores. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
We're kicking it this fall with college football. Join 99.9 The Fan all season long and catch your favorite teams in action. The ACC, the SEC, and every conference that matters. You'll find the best matchups here.
The Blue Devils up 21-20, and they got their arms reaching for that bell.
College football on 99.9 The Fan is brought to you by Wake Men, Sammy's Tap and Grill, and Roofworks.
Hey, it's Adam from my man Gordon Miller. Miller Lending, Kildare Farm Road in Cary. He invented the no closing cost mortgage in 1987. I know, I tell you that all the time. Hey, I'm just letting you know who did the original deal, right? This guy invented it. Other people are trying to copy it. They're not doing it the right way. They're rolling your closing cost into the loan amount. Gordon has never done that. I've had 11 mortgages through Miller Lending, have never paid a dime in closing costs, and my loan has not been increased to compensate. On top of that, Gordon's feeling great because the football team in Detroit is playing well. Never mind the baseball team. The football team is great, and you can get a great mortgage at Miller Lending. By the way, don't worry that the rates ticked up a bit. They're going to drop. So if you're getting your mortgage now, that's fine. You can just refinance free of charge later when the rates drop. Miller Lending on Kildare Farm Road in Cary since 1996. An equal housing lender, NMLS ID 250-2146.
It's bow time. It's not just football season. It's tailgate season. And that includes every kind of football, whether it's got goalkeepers or goalposts. The kick is good! Because it doesn't matter where or how you tailgate. When you've got crispy chicken and fluffy buttermilk biscuits from Bojangles, your tailgate is better than great. It's legendary. Head to Bojangles and order your tailgate box with boldly seasoned chicken, fixins, biscuits, and legendary iced tea today. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. And there's no time like now to help Western North Carolina recover from Hurricane Helene. Through October 19th, participating Bojangles are donating all proceeds from Bowberry biscuit sales to hurricane relief efforts in Western North Carolina. So when you buy a Bowberry biscuit from Bojangles, you'll be doing something good and getting something good. What are you waiting for? It's Help Western North Carolina time.
Adam Gold in studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. Everything for the exterior of your home, but it's also everything for the peace of mind of the customer. Talk to me about the trust factor and everything else that you guys offer.
I got to tell you, I think one of the biggest things for us is we don't take any payment from you for any of your home improvement needs until we're done with the project. I hear stories all the time about people putting down deposits with companies, 25-50% of the project total overall, and they don't even know, they don't show up.
Right.
You've lost whatever percentage you put down, that's how much power you lost already. right?
Right.
So with us, you pay nothing until we're done. Typically we're not the least expensive, and we're certainly not the most expensive. You get 3 or 4 estimates, we're going to fall right there in the middle. But, you're going to have a warranty that's lifetime, transferable for 10 years on any of the products we sell typically. And we've been around since 1961. You can trust us. We've been around forever.
It is about trust, and I think you guys are the most trustworthy business that I know. Aluminum Company of North Carolina, aluminumcompany.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
This is Adam Gold.
He said he could talk about his golf game. He did say it wasn't great, and I said, hey, no judgment here. I'm a drive shacker and a putt-putter myself.
None of us are good. Even those of us that are good aren't really good.
Right, yeah.
We're just not.
Yeah.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I'm Adam Gold, Victoria producing the program. I found some positives out of the game against the Atlanta Falcons yesterday for the Carolina Panthers. We're going to talk all things football, both spelled FOOT, BALL, and FUTBOL with our next guest. He is the one and only, the voice of Charlotte FC, and host of Post Games for Panthers football. He joins us. He is Will Palaszczuk at Willie P. Style. All right, sir. First of all, people don't know this, and I probably shouldn't even say it, but I apologize for screwing up your Friday last week.
It's okay.
I disappointed myself that I disappointed you. So let's dive right into what I thought was an encouraging game, even though defense was bad. Defense is going to be bad for the Panthers. I love the way they attacked the end of the first half. And if Andy Dalton doesn't make that mistake on that drive that was all about Chuba Hubbard, I'm not saying we're looking at a different outcome, but I think the game plays out differently.
I think you're right. And I think, the real, I think, shame of it was that it kept them from completely losing out on the middle 8. Like, that's the part of the game where you hear a lot of coaches say you've got to win that middle part of the game, the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 of the second half. And I think the part of it that I liked from Carolina's perspective is that they got that late touchdown. Otherwise, it looked like they had an opportunity to kind of Katie bar the door. But the part that I don't like is that while they did attack, I don't think they necessarily did the best job of utilizing where they were actually hurting Atlanta. The fact that Chuba Hubbard only touched the ball 18 times, I got a problem with. He went 5.1 yards per carry, and he had run it on 5 of 6 attempts in that drive that they had the Dalton interception. I would have kept doing it until it stopped working, until it stopped getting positive yardage. So that part of it, I'm kind of like, Dave Canales talks about wanting to be this run-dominant team, and yet Atlanta runs it twice as many times as the Panthers do. They get 198 yards on the ground, and the Panthers are sitting there at 92. I feel like a lot of times they've said that the game situation has kept them from running the football. That game, Adam, was a one-score game for the majority of the contest. There's no reason you couldn't have run it as much as Atlanta did.
I agree with you. I understood what they were trying to do, but I would have fed Chuba Hubbard until he submitted. Until he signaled to the sideline.
Absolutely.
Because, they were massive chunks of yards that they were chewing up. In the first 4 carries were like they netted up, I think, over 30 yards. Yes, I would have kept going to him. Or, you could certainly run Miles Sanders a couple of times if Chuba Hubbard needs a break.
Miles didn't have a good day. He did not have a good day. 3 carries, 1 yard. It was very evident that he didn't have it yesterday.
Well, I think in the first half, there was no commitment. To me, there was not a commitment to running the ball in the first half, but they got to it on that drive. But the decision to play out the end of the first half, again, this was where I was impressed. They knew, Dave Canales knew, that this was their opportunity to sort of get back in the game, but it came with risk because the timeouts he called at the end of Atlanta's touchdown drive that made it 22-10. He was calling timeouts so he would have time to maybe get their offense on the field, steal a couple of points before halftime, and kind of grab the momentum of the game back. And it was a risk because if you don't score there, you're out of timeouts. If you don't move the ball and pick up a few first downs, Atlanta calls timeouts, and then they go the other way, and now the game is over. And I loved that drive specifically for a couple of reasons. One, I thought it was decisive. I thought it was gutsy. But how many young players factored in? Coker had 2 big catches. JT Sanders had the big catch across the middle. And the touchdown catch by Xavier Leggett was dynamite.
Yeah, that's the thing about yesterday, that if you're looking for silver linings, I think you saw steps forward for all the young position players. Jalen Coker's glow-up has been coming on since the beginning of training camp, and I was very disappointed that, while he initially made the roster, he kind of had to go through that waiver wire practice squad transition to try and get himself back in the fold, and it took an injury to Adam Thielen to give him his first real shot. He showed me a heck of a lot more than Jonathan Mingo has to this point of his, young 2024 season. Jatavion Sanders has had the dropsies. Unfortunately, he had one to kind of kick off his day yesterday, but then he made 5 consecutive catches on targets that really kind of got him back in the good graces of Andy Dalton. And you mentioned XL, who I swear he's got the most famous horse in Charlotte right now with Dollar Bill. So from that perspective, you're very much looking forward to what he can bring to the table, and he'll be a feature part of this offense now, I think, with the fact that, Deontay Johnson's getting a lot more attention as people are finding out that he is the most, I would say, useful of the weapons for Andy Dalton. But from the standpoint of where Xavier Leggett sits, you need to be able to lean on him a little bit more, and I think that Dalton is wondering and finding different spaces to get him involved in.
Yeah, just to go back to that drive that really ended the game, the interception. He had a check down to I think it was Deontay Johnson on the in the right flat that might have gotten him a first down. Even if it didn't get you a first down, it's certainly better than the risk all the way down the field, because I don't think Sanders was ever open at any point during that play, and you didn't have to be greedy at that point. You could have slow played it. Plus, even if it ends up being 3rd and 2, the way you were running the ball, I mean, you could have picked that up.
That's the thing that I didn't like about that interception, was the fact that your option there was Ian Thomas. Ian Thomas was the guy you were going to in triple coverage. This is not meant to slight Ian Thomas. We've given him a little bit of shrift here today on our air. He should never be one of your options unless it's a break glass in case of emergency type thing for him. I'm sorry. You have other options. I'd rather you check it down or throw it into the first row than trying to throw it to Ian Thomas in any fashion, let alone trying to weave it through triple coverage.
All right, let's get to the successful football team that plays at Bank of America Stadium, shall we? Sure. 6th in the Eastern Division of Major League Soccer, Charlotte FC. Now, here's what has impressed me. They got off to a really good start, and then they went 2 months without a win. Was it July, mid-July to the middle of September without a victory in all competitions, because they played in some cups or the League Cup there, a Leagues Cup, where they didn't
4 weeks without a game, to be fair. 4 weeks without a game, so that may be that maybe exacerbated it a little bit.
But it was
right.
I think it was 8 games. It was 4-4 in that stretch. But they've come out on the other side and they have looked good. So going into the last game, I think are they locked in? I think they could be the 7.
Yes.
They are locked into the 6?
They are. Well, they're locked in between 5 and 7, basically, depending on the way results go this week.
What has been the difference over the last month, where they have kind of rallied, maybe a little bit less than a month, where they have rallied and won 3 of their last 4?
Well, Dean Smith made a very big tactical shift. It probably looked like more of a dynamic shift than we maybe initially thought, but he put Tim Ream into the starting lineup at what basically looks like on paper the left back position, but in reality they're using Tim Ream, Andrew Privet, who spent a lot of the season as the left side center back, and Adilson Malanda to use as the build-up, and they're taking their right back Nathan Byrne, using him as a free runner. Now, ironically enough, This is basically, like in the old Madden, the old flip play. They're just flipping the way that they used to do things the other way, because under their old format, their previous left back, Yara Ornan, would have that free runner position down the opposite side. So really, in fact, they've switched responsibilities. Unfortunately, it makes the Finnish international, Yara Ornan, kind of a hard-done guy to go to the bench, but it has allowed their build-up to be a lot more smooth. They've played a lot better through the midfield with the addition of Junior Urso back into the starting lineup along with Brant Bronico and Ashley Westwood. It's opened up opportunities for Pep Biel to not only play down that right wing, but also tuck in the middle when Nathan Byrne is the free runner. It's given some more open space as well to Liel Abada on that left side. And it really has unlocked Karol Świderski, because after so much imploring from Dean Smith, Karol has finally learned how to stay and set high and wait himself for service that has gotten towards him, whether it's a deflection in the Miami game, whether it's a couple of different shooting opportunities in games prior. He got a very nice juicy rebound off of a shot from Liel Abada in the last home game that Charlotte FC won against Montreal. He has had a lot more effectiveness in games, probably the most effective he's looked in a very long time for Charlotte FC, because of his ability to stay high, play into the system, and this tactical shift that Dean Smith has made has worked wonders. It's led to 4 straight unbeaten, 3 of those have been wins, and they're playing about as good as they have under Dean, and that's saying something given the way they started the year.
All right, real quick, you mentioned Tim Ream. People should know the name if you're a fan of football or soccer at all, in that he's right now still first-choice center back for the U.S. men's national team. Who knows what's going to happen 2 years from now in the World Cup. Has he made that much of a difference?
Absolutely. He scored a goal on the road against Montreal off of a set piece, which was incredibly impressive. It kept them in a game that they were down 2-0 in, so he's definitely been impressive there. He's been very steady, and one of the things that Dean has said is that he wants somebody who can be a left-footed center back to kind of be that balance on the field. He's been a very big impact on Andrew Privet and Adilson Malanda, two under the age of 25 center backs that are the anchor of their defense, and quite frankly, this is probably the best that Charlotte FC's back line has looked since that early stretch where they had, clean sheets almost every week. They've not let in a lot of the silly goals they did earlier part of the season. They have been very organized defensively. Dean said they played about as well without the ball against a Montreal team that was desperate and had beaten some pretty tough customers in the last couple of weeks. Only allowed just 1 shot on target. He's been a big, big part and the central part of that, and it has them with a lot of momentum leading into the postseason.
All right, you feel good about maybe a longer run, or what do you? Or is everything house money?
Well, right now, the way that it sits, if they finish 6th, they're playing the team that's on the worst form right now.
Cincinnati.
Of the potential opponents, Cincinnati. Yeah. Cincinnati has had some very up and down. I think it's not necessarily poor play. I think they're kind of coasting to the end of the season. They know they can't get the Supporters' Shield. They've rested some guys. They've had some injuries. Lucho Acosta's kind of had an up and down second half. Didn't play well against Charlotte FC, mind you. So that's something that's a feather in your cap. Charlotte actually beat Cincinnati in their building earlier this year. So that's something to keep in mind. Columbus is hot right now. Orlando's even hotter. I wouldn't want to see either of those teams, so I think a lot of it's matchup dependent, but the fact that you get a game in your home building is, I think, the best equalizer of this new MLS playoff format, which is in its 2nd year. You get a 3-game series in the opening round. If you can get something, either whether it's a draw to get the penalties and steal one on the road, you get a chance to close it out in your home building, or if you lose that first game, you get an opportunity to extend the series with a victory in your place. I think it allows for great parity in the postseason, and hopefully Charlotte FC can take it to their advantage and maybe get themselves their first playoff advancement going into the quarterfinal.
Stay away from the Columbus Crew. They are plus 31 or so goal differential. They have been one of the powerhouse sides in a while. All right, let's get to
and the guy who I voted for is the MVP in the league too, in Cucho Hernandez, incredibly dangerous striker.
All right, sir, are you still positive? You still feel good about the Mets' chances even after 9-0 last night to Los Angeles?
You need a win today in order for me to keep the optimism. It's waning for me. I know that.
Is it really already?
The Dodgers are throwing a bullpen day, so that gives me a little bit of optimism. I didn't like their approach to the plate yesterday. I thought they were very tentative, and it looked like a team that, you always talk about rust versus rest, et cetera, and so on. It looked kind of rusty yesterday. I didn't like throwing Senga out there either.
I didn't like that.
I didn't really feel like that was the best move after what we saw in the Milwaukee series. I wouldn't have minded just throwing Peterson out there and use Senga out of the bullpen. Like, I think that honestly would have been the better course of action for him, because I just don't know if trying to force feed that part of it is the best thing right now for him.
Here's my counter to that is that I don't mind using Senga as a starter. I get it, because the Dodgers have been poor against left-handed pitching, right? But and Peterson's coming in on the back of him, right? So I get all of that. But if you've got Luis Severino and Sean Manaea on full rest or extra rest, use one of them. You've got three bona fide, really good starting pitchers for this series, along with Jose Quintana. Quintana wasn't ready to go because he just pitched Wednesday, but you had the other two. You could use the other one in Game 2. You could use Quintana in Game 3, and then you come back with a bullpen game in Game 4. Maybe Senga gives you 3 innings on your home field. I didn't like the fact that you bypassed 2 pitchers who could have gone on full or 1 day extra rest to play that. That was my only problem with it.
It puts a lot of pressure on Manaea tonight. And, maybe the fact that he kind of had a feeling that they were going bullpen game, you'd want to throw the better pitcher in the bullpen game. I mean, there's a lot of back and forth you can do on it. I just hope it doesn't cost them the momentum that they had coming out of the Brewers series, because if they get the 1 win in LA, then everything feels like it changes, because you get 3 opportunities to close it out in your building. But it didn't look good last night. It
did not. But if Senga just would have been willing to throw a strike to either Betts or Freeman or Teoscar Hernandez, I mean, maybe it would have been different. The pitch he left up to Max Muncy, he almost got out of the freaking inning, which I couldn't believe. With bad base running, by the way, by Mookie Betts. Will Palaszczuk at Willie P. Style. I feel more positive, and I'm at peace with anything, because I didn't anticipate this anyway. Did you?
Yeah, that's a lot of fans who I talked to. I still come from the standpoint of I was born literally the year after 1986. I have not seen this team win a championship in my lifetime. I would like to see it sometime before I die. And
you will?
Every disappointment just seems to cut at a deeper place that I didn't know existed.
Which was
the only thing.
Which was more painful? They lost to the Yankees in 2000. The fact that Carlos Beltran, who I will say, a great Met, I am not complaining about Beltran, taking call strike 3 to Adam Wainwright in the league championship series in 2006, or any of the recent meltdowns in the regular season.
I was about to say, death by 1,000 paper cuts against the Royals was not fun either in 15.
But that team was legit. And the Mets were a little bit of a surprise.
06 was bad for me because I was in college in Missouri watching with a bunch of Cardinal fans in my off-campus apartment, watching Carlos Beltran take called strike 3. That was the worst.
I'm so sorry.
My roommate, to celebrate, actually punched a hole in our wall. Might have been some alcohol involved.
Maybe.
Cannot confirm or deny.
Maybe.
The bad part about the 2000 is my dad was at the game that the Yankees clinched and had beer spilled on him at Shea Stadium. So that was also particularly painful. The in-season meltdowns also bad in 08 and 09, 22. None of it was good.
Yeah, I was at Game 4 of that Subway Series. Yeah. I saw David Cohn start against the Mets.
I took my sister to Game 4 in 2015 that Daniel Murphy had the ball go under his glove. Playoff hero until that point, and then the GOAT, which is always the way, is it not?
Yeah, Lucas Duda can throw to home plate, right? I mean, we should be able to. Never mind. People don't need to relive this with us. At Willie P. Style on Twitter, man. Good luck to you this afternoon, starting at 4:08.
Thank you, sir. And make sure you get your playoff tickets, by the way, charlottefootballclub.com/tickets for our home game yet to be determined on a day or opponent.
Thanks, man. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, pal.
You got it. Look, it's okay. The Mets will be fine. How come we don't have a Mets icon? Can we get Video Joe on that?
When we get a Cubby one, then we'll get both.
No. The Mets are playing right now. They're going to be actually on the field in 90 minutes. What do you mean for now?
Sorry.
Well, I've got at least 3 more games.
That's true.
Tonight,
That's true.
Today, this afternoon, and then Wednesday and Thursday. Even if we get swept, I got 2 more shots at this.
That's true. I know.
I'm
working on a generic NFL background too for when we don't want to use the Panthers.
If Video Joe is listening to this, I need. You can put Grimace. Just put Grimace on either side.
We should. And some nuggies.
Because
that makes it all better.
I'm going to use a purple pen the rest of the day.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, we'll come back and rewind. We talked. Are the Dallas Cowboys in legit trouble? We'll do that in the rewind and more next.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Are you struggling with your Medicare drug costs? The NC Department of Insurance SHIP program may be able to help. The extra help in Medicare savings programs are available for those who qualify, but you have to apply. Contact SHIP today to see if you qualify. Visit ncshiip.com or call toll-free at 855-408-1212. SHIP provides free, unbiased help in all 100 counties.
Project supported by grants from the Administration for Community Living. Contents do not necessarily represent official views of, nor an endorsement by ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and Week 6 of the NFL is almost over, but not before the Buffalo Bills do more damage to the New York Jets. America's #1 sportsbook is FanDuel, and new customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win a bet on tonight's game, like Josh Allen or James Cook scoring a touchdown. I mean, it doesn't seem like it gets any easier than that, but who knows? What do I know? Anyway, take advantage of that. Win your bet. FanDuel.com/AGS. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel. FanDuel.com/AGS, and FanDuel is an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. 21 and over and present in North Carolina. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov.
Trust ACT Construction Equipment and Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders to position your tree service for success. ACT Construction Equipment is your authorized dealer for sales, service, parts, and rentals for Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders. ACT Construction Equipment has been your authorized dealer for Bandit equipment for over 10 years. Visit one of our 6 North and South Carolina locations or actce.com for more details on Bandit Wood Chippers and Stump Grinders. ACT Construction Equipment, always the right equipment for the job.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Power your life with a Generac home standby generator. Act now for a free 10-year warranty on a Generac home standby generator. Terms and conditions apply. See more at alternativepower.com. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts.
The 2024 elections are just around the corner, and older voters are the nation's most active. The AARP North Carolina Voters Guide has information about upcoming election dates, registration deadlines, and voting options in North Carolina, such as voting by mail, early voting, or voting with a disability. Find the guide in the voters section at aarp.org/NC and listen each week to AARP Without Limits for important election news and much more. You can find the latest episodes of AARP Without Limits wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Psst. Hello there. It's me, your internal clock. Yes, the one you sleep through on weekends. You've probably heard my TikToks, but I'm straight up sounding the bell now. It's almost time to start applying for college. That means you got transcripts to gather, letters of rector request, and campus tours to schedule. But hey, we've got time, and we've got CFNC. CFNC.org can help us plan, apply, and pay for college. We got this, trust me. Just visit CFNC.org to help us stay on time.
Visiting the North Carolina Zoo in Asheboro is a family tradition, perfect for fun outdoor adventure. Founded in 1974, this year marks North Carolina Zoo's 50th anniversary, and the zoo is celebrating all year long. Enjoy the antics of the baboon babies, take a ride on the endangered species carousel, and wonder at the massive elephants of the Watani grasslands. Make cherished family memories today. Plan your trip at nczoo.org. Open 7 days a week in Asheboro.
This is Adam Gold.
We had lightning hit a pretty large tree.
Oh, yeah.
About 150 yards from the house. It'll be my sign to go win the lottery. But you know what? I'm sorry, I can't. I have rules. If it's not over $1 billion, I'm not playing.
Yeah, still just millions.
The Adam Gold Show.
It's the Adam Gold Show. I am Adam Gold. Today's Columbus Day, right?
It is. Banks are closed.
Yeah, I found that out
Kids
today.
might be out. I don't know.
I found that out today. We also have like a lot of daytime hockey.
Oh.
Like, no joke. Panthers lead the Bruins. They are in the second period. The Panthers lead 4-2. The Kings also lead the Senators 4-2. They are in the second period. And the Devils, after 2 periods, have a 2-0 lead on the Utah Hockey Club. And the Devils will be here tomorrow.
Yes, they will be.
So, by the way, Steph Nason has his second goal of the season for the exactly. And I'm just trying to find out if Brett Pesce is back in the lineup. He is not yet in the lineup. We'll find out tomorrow whether or not Pesce will make his season debut. This is their 4th game already. I think the Devils they might even be undefeated. But they lost that game in Toronto, so they're headed for 3-1, I guess. But that'll be their 5th game already tomorrow. This will be the Hurricanes' second, of course, due to the postponement. Hurricane Milton making it completely unplayable in Tampa. But I mentioned this earlier. While the Hurricanes didn't play well on Friday night against Tampa, it was still a game that they could have and probably should have won. The 2 power play goals, there were 17 seconds of Tampa brilliance, and then the rest was left up to the goaltender, Andrei Vasilevsky. But the Hurricanes had, by 2-1, the better scoring chances. They just didn't finish any of them, except the one Jordan Staal goal that turned the first period from a disaster into, hey, that was a pretty good period. I mean, Carolina was junk until there was about 6 minutes left. And then the rest of the period, they were awesome. And it was kind of back and forth in the second period, but they had more scoring chances than Tampa. They just couldn't bury them. And to me, that was on them more than it was on Tampa. But nobody's saying that they played a good game because they really didn't. All right, let's get to a rewind, shall we? All right, we got 2 things that we talked a lot about. About a lot of things with Will Brinson. But let's start with Drake Maye, who makes his first start this past weekend, or yesterday, for the Patriots against the Texans. And the Texans are one of the best pass rushing teams in the league, and the Patriots have a terrible offensive line. I am not sure why they thought that was a good idea, but I guess it could have gone worse. It wasn't all bad.
Yeah, I mean, look, they got blown out by the Texans, and the score was 27-7 before Drake Maye started. Well, I guess he threw to Kayshon Boutte. He threw a touchdown pass in the second quarter, but most of it was in garbage time. Still, he, ran the ball well.
Yeah.
Here's my thing with the Patriots is if you're gonna bring Drake Maye, like if you're gonna not start Drake Maye at the beginning of the year when your team is completely healthy, then why don't you wait and follow the actual plan that you have for Drake Maye? It doesn't make any sense to me to get 5 games in and say, oh, well, we stink, let's pull the ripcord and start Drake Maye against the team that generates more quarterback pressure than anyone else in the NFL.
Yeah.
Like, started the week before against a worse defense. So I
Total
thought
panic move.
Yeah, and like your offense, you lose David Andrews, so your center's out for the season. You don't have any, real weapons at the skill positions. You lose Ramondre Stevenson, so you're losing your best running back. I just thought that the approach by the Patriots was kind of silly, although Drake Maye, very talented. Wouldn't be surprised if he has a great career. And I think I'm always in favor of playing the young guys. Like, and obviously I'm a Jacoby Brissett guy, but
right.
You draft Drake Maye where you draft him, start him right away. If he's gonna struggle and not be a good player over the long term because you don't have the weapons in place and you don't have the offensive line in place, you might want to think about whether you should have drafted him in the first place. And then two, like if that's the case, then you need to be absolutely convicted in or absolutely sure in your convictions, and you sit him for the year, or you start him right away. This sort of haphazard direction to me makes me question the front office and the coaching staff and who's pulling the strings on when Drake may start.
The way I look at it, if your plan going into the season was we're going to let Drake Maye watch, we got a veteran who knows what he's doing in Jacoby Brissett, let him go and ride it out as long as possible. And then at the end of the season, if you want to get Maye a start or two starts because you know that next year that he's the guy, then I'm on board with that. Too often we panic. Like, the season's getting away from us. Well, what exactly is getting away from you, New England? I'd say the same thing about the Panthers. I said it. Like, really? What is getting away? Oh, we might be able to make No, you're not making the playoffs. I told you before the season that even healthy, the defense wasn't good enough. So, and now that they're not healthy, you're seeing just how awful the defense can be. Like, I saw there was a narrative that, man, the scheme is just not good. How are you going to scheme this better? You've got maybe two quality NFL starting cornerbacks. Horn, he's fine. I don't think J.C. Horn is as awesome as he's supposed to be, but I think he's a good starting cornerback in the league. Dane Jackson, Mike Jackson, whoever the other guy is, Bell, but fine. They're okay. Probably not on a good team. Probably they're more depth guys on other teams. But ultimately, without Shaq Thompson, without Josie Jewell, by the way, DJ Wanham is coming back. He's close to being able to resume practicing. Dave Canales today said that Jonathan Brooks is just about ready to start the window, the 21-day window, so he can get ready to get back in the get into the lineup.
That's exciting.
That is exciting. And I know they're excited about his future too, right? It's not necessarily something that they need right now because Chuba Hubbard is playing at a super high level, but maybe he's a better option for you than Miles Sanders, and that's fine. I think Sanders has done some good things. He obviously didn't play well against Atlanta, but they also might not have blocked real well for him. I mean, Chuba Hubbard was tremendous. So, but getting Jonathan Brooks back would be good. But DJ Wanham, getting ready to start practicing again, they desperately need some help at that level of their defense. Desperately need help in that regard. All right, so Will and I also talked about the Dallas Cowboy train wreck. So I'm not sure. I do think that it could be more about what's right with Detroit.
Yeah, maybe. There's some of that there. I mean, there's a lot right with Detroit. There's a lot wrong with Dallas.
I agree with that.
And by the way, the last time I believe they lost by 38 points at home, Wade Phillips got fired that week, and it was to Mike McCarthy and the Packers, which is just wild. I think Jerry Jones said he was all in this offseason
right.
on 2024. And what he meant it was like, all right, we're just all in on what we've got. And right now the defense just isn't very good.
Nope.
And it's easy to me to draw a line here. The defense was terrible with Mike Nolan under Mike McCarthy, and it almost cost him his job. Goes out and gets Dan Quinn, brings him in. Defense is very good for a long time. And then Dan Quinn goes to Washington, and Washington's good. Yep. And now the defense is bad again. DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons being hurt certainly doesn't help the Cowboys' case, but this isn't a good defense. And right now, the bigger problem is that the only way they were going to win that game against Detroit is if Dak Prescott and the offense were capable of outlasting the Lions in a shootout. They didn't do that. Jared Goff, by the way, 157.5 passer rating over the last 2 games, highest in NFL history for a 2-game span, which is wild.
Jared Goff's playing at a high level. That offense is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
They lose Aiden Hutchinson to the injury. He's going to be out for the year. But the defense is still really good. That team is ready.
Mm-hmm.
They are ready.
I'm excited for them, and I wouldn't hate seeing them in the Super Bowl either.
They are fun.
Mm-hmm.
If you were the Jets, though, not that Ben Johnson's going to do it.
Yeah.
But if you were the Jets, I mean, you want to have – the Jets have not had a fun offense. Never.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Never. The last time the Jets had a fun offense, I'm fairly certain it was prior to it was the Johnson administration.
There you go.
Like the late 1960s was the last time the Jets had a fun offense. And fun by NFL standards back then was, we'll throw the ball deep down the field sometimes. I can't remember the last time the Jets had a fun offense. Actually, Ken O'Brien to Wesley Walker was fun. But they need some offensive juice. And that's the thing that has been, I think, disturbing to a lot of not only Jet fans, but just football fans, because you think they have some pieces and Aaron Rodgers is coming in and maybe they'll be fun to watch offensively, but it's been the opposite. It just has. So that's probably the Jets' main target. But if you're Ben Johnson, anywhere other than that place, that is a coaching graveyard. Total coaching graveyard. All right, to ACC football and Mark Packer, real quick. This is a real question. Clemson, are they legit, or is it just the schedule hasn't been that tough as they've been winning?
Maybe both. The competition has not been great. Of course, when you looked at the schedule before the season, you're thinking, man, that NC State-Clemson game is going to be huge.
Right.
And NC State rolled over and played dead, and I'm stunned with what I've seen from NC State, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
We thought App State, App State's always good. And then, they were a complete, total wash in that game. So I think Clemson's playing better than anybody in the league right now. Their offense is legit, and so is Georgia. Listen, they played a lousy – everybody's dumped on Clemson getting beat 34-3, but if you watch the game, it's 6-0 at the half.
Yeah.
You're thinking, well, anything can happen here. Georgia played a great 30 minutes of football to win that game the way they did, and they were the better team. But I think Clemson's pretty good. Again, we're going to find out. You mentioned the schedule. It picks up in November when Louisville, who, by the way, Dabo's never lost to them, but Louisville's legit. A trip to Virginia Tech. Dabo's never lost to them either. And then a trip to Pittsburgh. And to my knowledge, I don't think Clemson's ever won at Pitt. So, it'll all take care of itself one way or the other. But I think if you're a Clemson fan watching this team, especially after the first game debacle in the second half against Georgia, they have responded. Listen, the schedule is the schedule. But Clemson fans have to really be happy with the way they watch Cade Klubnik and this offense perform. And the defense is always salty.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's really hard. If you go down and you try to plot out a 12-team playoff, at least as we sit here today, and we've got basically half the season left, it's hard to come up with the last 4 teams in. It just is. I mean, the teams we thought from the does Tennessee deserve a spot now? I'd have to say no. Right? They already have 2 losses. Ole Miss, do they deserve a spot? I'd say no. Missouri, no. LSU? Maybe? What? Really? LSU should have lost that game to South Carolina. South Carolina refused to win that football game.
Yeah, no, really, you take the W.
Totally refused to win that football game. So it's going to be fascinating to see how they whittle it down. By the way, I was incorrect, thanks to S. Davidson on Twitter. The Devils have already played 4 games. Today is number 5. Tomorrow will be number 6. Hurricanes are playing their second game tomorrow. Who does the schedule?
Wow.
Granted, I know the Devils played those 2 Global Series games a couple of weeks ago, but my gosh. Anyway, we'll have a little bit more hockey in the program tomorrow, plus baseball, plus football. What else? Victoria, thank you. See everybody tomorrow.
Raleigh to Boone, Charlotte to Chapel Hill. Your Carolina is covered. Adam Gold on the North Carolina Sports Network.
Homeowners, listen up. The Fed has taken action, lowering rates for the first time in years, and Loan Pronto has followed suit by lowering mortgage rates big time. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. That means this is the best chance in 2 years to do a cash-out refi and unlock all that equity at an amazing rate. Loan Pronto has fixed loans under 5% APR, the lowest in 2 years. You can get a fast refi and get $50, $75, even $100,000 in cash. Use it to pay off all your credit cards, personal loans, car loans. You'll end up with one payment each month, and for most homeowners, they save over $850 every month. And if you want to keep your original mortgage intact, ask about the Loan Pronto Express Equity